Yeah.
So show some,
Then
show some pictures if necessary.
Okay. That. A motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Audience comments. Anyone online? No comments. All right, moving to designation of officers.
so, yeah. Again, we can take a motion to leave it the same. If you'd like, a couple of years ago, Cliff Akey, when he was on the board, wanted us to put this on the agenda every year in November to give other people an opportunity to be chair. I was against it then. I'm still against it now. The reason is because you do delegation of officer during the election anyway, which is
By
Every-
statute,
yeah.
you do it every 2 years.
every 2 years. And that really gives your chairman time to get acclimated, you know? And then if you wanted to be chair longer than 2 years, you absolutely have that ability. But for me, putting it on the agenda every year, I find that to be
Are you just saying,
counterproductive.
Yeah.
because you think it shouldn't be less than 2 years?
Yeah, because it takes you that long to even get your feet underneath you, with the chair. So again, those are just my thoughts.
I move to retain the same slate.
Okay, motion by Jack, second.
Well, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a little discussion, is there anyone else?
Yeah,
with
that's-
this
You
issue?
you need a second and then you can have discussion.
Second to discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Is there anybody else
Is
that?
there anybody else that wanted to, I can say I do not.
Me neither.
Okay.
Dave, you're up.
Yeah. I'm doing it. Keeps me busy and I'm always here. Seems like.
He gets paid extra too.
Yes, I highly doubt that. Just because you show up to the building doesn't mean you get paid.
And this is, remind me, because I don't know, this is your first.
First year.
First
Okay.
time, yeah, just for
Um,
clarification.
but I don't know if we want to do. I think we'd want to do 2 years at the election.
Well, even your.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do them,
Yeah,
yeah.
do you want the motion to be renew the current slate and then just do it every 2 years and
Then-
stop?
Right, so next year is an election year. And then we would start 2 years. I wouldn't do that. That doesn't make sense because that's the whole point, is doing it at the election year.
So as a separate conversation, I would like to keep it every year, just I think it's worth the discussion, even if we say, hey, that's fine, like we're doing right now.
Yeah,
Hey,
you
it's a
too,
two-
right.
I'd like to keep it every year just to provide the option. That way it's not awkward when somebody comes in and says, hey, I don't think the chairman should be the chairman anymore, that they feel like they've got the forum to do it without it being an awkward fight, that they can just come in and say, hey, I'd like to. I like it on the 1 year cycles. I don't disagree. It takes a while to get your feet under you, but
It does. And by the way, I mean, you have that ability anytime. If Dave Hume walked in today and said, meh, I don't like the chair, he can make a motion to
Yeah.
make a
Could have done
motion.
that at any time.
Anything. Yeah.
say that in every meeting. Oh, sorry.
we should have done that 6 years ago.
You have the ability to do that at any given meeting.
Yeah, I don't think I know any CDD that puts it
Ever.
on the agenda
Uh-uh.
and as required by
Yeah.
statute.
No.
But if somebody wants to bring it up, you can always bring it
Yeah.
up.
Right, and to Greg's point, so might help you to have the objective conversations, just make sure too that person's not fatigued and not feeling an obligation. So I would agree, concur with. you. I'm into one.
Can you let the people in?
Only one.
So
Okay, well, we have a motion on the table as is now.
As to leave it as is, which would be Chairman Tom Tuzen, Vice Chair David Hume, and everyone else remains Assistant Secretaries as is.
I mean, the only one I didn't hear from this Dave, do you have any preference one way or the other? Or are you okay keeping it as it is?
I'm fine either way.
There it is.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, leave it as is.
So does that address the whole annual look
We
at this or not?
No, I think that was just to keep, that was just, we just did
You didn't change.
we didn't change anything.
Having it on the agenda every November,
Right.
from what I understand, that's not
Right.
gonna change.
So the standing is an annual. If anybody would want to do that, we need to bring it up. That's
Right, the motion was just
Yeah.
for who's
Just
who.
it's like,
That was it.
Today.
Okay.
So you'll see it again November, but you'll see it next year because it's election year and you've had it on your agenda every year. There's someone else.
I just let him know.
Okay.
I got this one.
Okay, ma'am.
I got it.
He's the
Does
chair.
it ding next or something?
He is the new chairman.
He's the chairman. Handle.
I feel like Uhura, you know, she's just always contacting waving. Next is third party representative, Proa. Anybody here from Proa?
I did not attend the meeting last month, so I don't know.
Do we have a Crow liaison?
Um,
He was there a couple times.
it was Bill, wasn't it?
along.
Bill Long.
Yeah.
Now I heard, I always hear every month from one of them, you know what, I'm gonna be at your meeting, or was trying to be at your meeting, no one ever shows. So, you know,
That doesn't make any.
Some of us are working to change that.
yeah, I understand that.
Would the board care for me to conversate that with the board at their next
I
meeting?
think it's up to them. I think that's, you know.
I wasn't suggesting that was my opinion. I just wanted-
Yeah, that's up to them. And we don't have the sheriff here. We do have the workshop next month, so. Did we want to address, are we set for that meeting?
Yes.
So we're.
December 9th?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, is everyone
I
able to
believe so. I
attend?
think Carrie just wanted to talk about an agenda, if it's just gonna be
Oh,
discussion.
I guess we'll get to that one. That's on the agenda. I just want to make sure there's.
They confirmed date, they responded to me yesterday and said, yep, Sheriff and. Rivera?
The meter.
Yeah, they will be there.
And that's okay with board members.
We
Maybe
already confirmed.
Yes.
And we have talking or agenda or anything?
That's on this agenda. Talk about that.
The only issue I have is the 12th. I have a offsite that I cannot attend during that time.
Okay.
So I want to attend, but.
We'll share the cake with other folks.
Yeah.
How about that?
Ways to buy if you're not here.
Just send the money.
Just send the money, yes. So that's.
What's the problem?
Wow. Okay, I know, that's the holiday spirit, I guess. Staff reports, field inspection report.
Still painting, we're in Island Village now.
Yeah.
Even though that's not that old, we figure we just knock it out, get it done.
There's some areas that are faded. I was,
Yeah, hitting on Village.
yeah.
So anyway, behind me doing all that. The lights in Market Square fixed. Todd's fixing some lights for Mike Nunes downtown. For the reefs and stuff and putting on the light poles.
What's our, on the Canoa side, is that like interlocal? If lights, you're saying on our side that we're fixing or on their side?
They're our lights,
Okay, got it.
but they're plugging it in now, which only happens for like a month and a
Sorry,
half.
I thought I heard you saying they're fixing.
I don't know, pressure washing. We've got the boardwalk that we had discussed many meetings ago that there was about 60 feet of it was completely rotten because it was sitting in the dirt. So we just got rid of all that
Is that a-
concrete.
Yes.
Looks really nice, I think. Got the lights back up in there. It will be landscaped. It's not done yet. Should have your landscape proposal for the rest of the job site, hopefully by Thursday. We're gonna spend all day tomorrow
Okay.
doing the onesies, twosies and stuff.
Yeah, so what we're doing is, Russ and United are going through all of Celebration and breaking it out village by village. And so it's within the current budget, but they're looking at alleyways, some other areas if we're missing a bush, 3 bushes or whatever, some grass died. These are just the stuff that, they're little, but there's a lot. So they're just going ahead and doing it. And I know, you know, if we did the grandiose proposal, it was a lot. And like, no, let's bring it down. We're just going, so it's well within our budget to go ahead and do that. So once we do that and get it rolling, it'll be nice to finish all that stuff.
I don't have any specific examples, but as we're looking, do we consider things that maybe just shouldn't be replaced? I know as the town has grown, sometimes you look and say, do I really need a bush here? Do I really need this thing?
Yes, yeah, but in some cases, they kept planting stuff that it's too wet and we just put grass down.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, you know what, this is natural.
Comes
this
to the
shouldn't
corner
be-
of an alleyway and somebody's clipping grass, whatever.
Correct. We're trying to be smart about it because otherwise all we're doing is spending money, you know, every month and it for nothing. It's gonna die. So there is a lot of that. So, and it's also whatever we put in, we want it to last a long time. It's just not, we don't put in like 6 different flowers in a bed or something. It's one type of bush or 2, depending on where it's at. That's it.
So-
And sometimes this comes up, but we are under no obligation, just because there's an approved set of landscaping plans, that everything in that landscape plan needs to be replaced.
Right. Right. And a lot of them too is they're missing one or two bushes. That's really what it is. It's like, can we just replace those? And then everything, oh, looks great. And that's, Disney does that a lot. They don't say, oh, we're gonna wipe it and do it in some of the areas. It's just a few. And it looks good overnight. And essentially this is what this is. Anyways.
Russ, I got two questions for you. Do we have any Burford holly?
Buford, there's a Burford.
But
But some right out front.
I'm just wondering because it's subject to a thing called witch's broom. And it cannot be fixed. You can't kill it. The bush is gonna die eventually. I was just wondering if we had any problems with that, because a lot of the houses, residential areas have that type of bush in there and they're really struggling.
I can't think of anywhere out in the field that we got hauled, to be honest.
It'd be Burford holly. It's a small
Yeah.
bush.
Actually,
Okay.
holly trees are the same.
Yeah.
That's why I don't use it anymore.
The other question I have for you, in North Village on Celebration Boulevard by the pool, were we trimming trees on that side?
No, we're doing the other side. That was,
That's the pros with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get the tree replacements in that, on that one street and talk to the
back in June,
Jeter Crescent.
talk to the,
they haven't even, ordered the trees yet, so
you reached out to the residents?
I have not.
Just to make sure that there's no surprises.
Was it a long lead time to get those trees? Is that?
Shouldn't be.
No, we're just putting elm trees in there.
Just wondering if there's are we delaying for a reason? It's not hurricane season, right?
Right.
So as soon as we get them, we put them in.
Yeah, we just started planning in the last 10 days or so, probably.
There's a lot of trees that gone in.
Yeah.
So they're getting to them. Patience.
Where are you with the fence? Did we sign the contracts and get the final numbers?
We need to discuss that.
Agenda item?
That's agenda item, yeah.
Another
That's B.
I know Island Village is also on the agenda, and if I remember correctly, do we need to get a proposal from United to add that to the scope? Where are we with that? How's that contract number?
the phase two, we were still waiting on
We never got
the
that.
final determination of what was ours versus what was Crow's to get a final number.
I talked with Brett today. Actually, we talked to
Yeah.
him Friday. I had another conversation with him today. He's got that all broken out. The cost is probably 50,000 less than what he originally said. Once he broke out what's Crow is, what's ours, what's not getting maintained.
So we added 200,000 in the budget. Are you saying we'll have 50,000 excess?
He said it will probably be about 50,000 less than that.
So there you go. That's good. You have 50,000 left for a project or
Right,
something,
we'll just leave it there.
roughly.
And I know this is not a discretely determinable thing, but we did de-scope stuff from him about a year and a half ago. We took
Two
off
areas.
Sienna, we took off in front of a couple of churches. There were like 4 or 5 areas. This all came about from the Sienna conversation.
It's Sienna, Presbyterian, the
The
Catholic
Catholic
Church.
Church, I thought one of the
But it's
schools.
only a strip of mowing in the back. It wasn't like a
Just,
heavy.
yeah, it was very little.
It was just,
All
yeah, it
of
was
it's
just
combined.
mowing the verge. It wasn't. a
Okay, I thought there was
full
more than that.
No.
to it. Okay. I just want to make sure somewhere in the math that's getting accommodated for that. Okay.
line. Yeah, it wasn't a heavy lift. It was literally a strip mowing in front of those areas.
Yeah.
Or in back, either way.
I guess
Wasn't enough to offset is one. thing.
talking about, maybe getting $50,000 less than what we did, this might be a good time for the pine straw.
Well, we have pine straw in the budget,
That's very good one.
aside from the number that's in the budget.
Yeah.
And how much is that?
So. There are 2,200 bales short. It's actually 2,283 bales short. For a total of $13,698.
And why is that all?
Is that
This is
Island
my thing,
Village
you're
too?
talking thousands and thousands and thousands of bales of hay. This guy might be putting it down this thick, this guy could put it that thick. I mean, I don't know, how do you get it exact?
I'm sorry, starting with who's they and what are we?
United.
Okay.
But it's part of the scope, so whether they lay it this,
Well, then we're gonna get it thin next time is what I'm trying to get at.
And you do have the autonomy to bid out flowers and,
Separate.
is
Fine, sure.
pine straw, because it's not part of their
So
contractual.
they're asking for a change order.
For
Calculation
Sure.
intensity that we wish to.
now, there are some areas like up on Celebration Avenue
Right.
by North Village and, you know, I don't know how many.
So we
There's areas that
we had a conversation with them and the situation existed last year
yes.
because those plants are already there. And so now, oh, it's because you went from grass and put some bushes along, 417 and Celebration Boulevard where North Village is.
Mhm.
Because you put that stuff down, now we have to pine straw it. Well, my argument is, I have no problem paying for what we have to go ahead and do, but don't come to me after we did the budget and tell me, oh, by the way, I said, that's just not gonna fly. And I said, it's up to you guys to calculate everything and go ahead and figure it out. And I still have an argument too, that when we go ahead, I understand we put pine straw down there, but they had to have somebody mow it before with chemicals and everything. You see what I'm saying? So
You're aware.
I don't understand why there's such 100% of, oh, now we gotta, whatever. So, I still think we're working this out because I'd like to, you know, like to figure out how we're gonna do it and like to see where these areas are. They only mentioned that area. I'm expecting to see it. I mean, I'm with you. I would like to bid it out to find out.
Yes.
That's
How much are we really talking about? Has somebody looked at all the pine straw areas?
Just for that line item,
Pardon me?
what's the total quote unquote pine straw budget line?
21, 20 something. I think.
I mean, I saw where.
You're still within one,
Right.
but if they do the same application the second time, yes, you're gonna exceed
You're
what's in
gonna
the line item.
I change order.
So what you currently budgeted.
Gonna make this really easy. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're fine.
Section 425 of the contract. Mulch quantities will be determined by the contractor during the proposal process. Any shortages in material will be installed by the contractor at their cost.
Easy answer.
Well, yeah, not unless they're claiming that it's a scope ban.
Right.
They said we didn't plan on.
That's why I asked if it was Island Village specific, because we hadn't determined those numbers, but Carrie's saying no.
Not specific. There are some other beds where it calculated into their prices.
But the only thing not within scope is phase 2, which we haven't put on contract yet. So I don't even know how it would be out of scope.
You're gonna win the battle but lose the war, so there's
Right.
there's 50,000.
121,000, 167 is what you have budgeted for 26 for pine straw.
Thank you, two applications.
Yeah, we
I
do
think that's two.
there's two applications.
So Russ, what was
One phase
what was
2
the bill you had?
contract. and-
13.
They haven't even done it yet.
There's
13,000.
2,200 bales, 22 and change.
So when will it be signed for the formal phase 2, so we know it's 150 or 200, because again, now that's it, no, we're usually, now it's regular big
Well,
165, right?
Well,
That's,
hold on, he comes back with a different number all of a sudden after we bring up the mulch. I'm
yeah,
gonna
but
have a
is
hell of
that,
a lot bigger.
is that,
than
is
$50,000.
that in writing? I mean, is it? It's good, it's
We
good.
didn't see it right.
Right.
We did, when Tom and I talked to him Friday, we negotiated that down quite
Yeah,
a bit.
because there's a lot higher. No way.
I
The
would.
reality is, if you have the money in your budget to do it, where you're going to come to a point of contention is if we need to mulch or pine straw the rest of the neighborhood, if you're short 20-something hundred bales, that's where it's gonna come in. But right now you have the money. to do that.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Why would that, if it's within scope, the only thing that's not in scope of their contract right now is phase 2, which we need to sign that. What's the delta that all of a sudden there's an extra add?
Why are we short?
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is you have the money to do it now. Where it's gonna come into a problem is later on, if we have to mulch or pine straw something, there's gonna be an extra cost for that. So that's where.
Last year,
My guess is next time when they mulch, it's gonna get real thin and it's gonna look like crap real quick.
It's not gonna get real thin because the first sentence of 425.
There's not,
They'll mulch twice a year in March, April, and October, November, at a depth of 1.5 to 2 inches. If it gets real thin, you're gonna be out there with a ruler saying.
down there.
What did you have to say, Karen?
I mean, that's the contract.
Part of what got explained to me was when they changed account managers. Tom, who had been here before, did not share that there was additional beds that got added last year. That did not get calculated into their cost this year.
But that's,
They have an estimate.
That's correct.
What were you saying?
Yes.
Okay, but it's past budget season and we're, that
But-
ship's
but-
in.
But even, let me clarify, are you saying that the beds that were added after they went through and surveyed for how much mulch? Because it says in here, mulch will be determined by the contractor during the proposal process.
Listen, here's the reality. They underbid it.
yes.
We went from $117,638 in 25. Their new price for 26 was $121,167. So clearly they didn't account for everything. I mean, that's the reality. They went up, what, $3,000,
I make,
All of
$4,000?
I make a motion that I suggest we go back with the language in 425 and say, please tell us why we're paying this, see what the response is.
I
It's an estimating, that's, I mean, it's-
I don't have a problem with it. I just, it is for me to come in with, when we first came in. With a $50,000 bill, which is what it was.
Mhm.
And say, you know, listen, mistakes happen and I understand that. But it's just, that's such a big mistake. And I expected, like, we already did the budget. Well,
And when we make mistakes, we own the mistake.
we end up paying more.
And that's my point.
Right? I mean, so. I don't have a problem going back. I still think that we're gonna have to get it mulched. And. You know, I at the same time would look who can maybe finish the mulch, see how much it would cost, number one. And number two, is there another company and that would completely change. Because technically, I thought we discussed that we might be looking at doing this 3 times a year. Because 2 times wasn't enough.
I don't recall that.
We discussed it. Yeah, so I'm just curious, we did it twice, we did it 3 times, if we did it 3 times and it's gonna be the same cost, great. Or maybe we'll go to 2, we save even more, I don't know, I don't.
Well, no, I mean, the way it's the way it's structured is it's a cost per bale. So I mean, if we change and say we want it 3 times, reasonably, we're gonna be paying for the 3rd time.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
You definitely could complete this application and then go out to bid for your next one and see where we are.
I don't know that is mulching an urgent thing that we need to go out to
Well,
someone right now and.
Here's the thing, well,
No, it doesn't go out to bid. It's just asking different companies for a proposal.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And if we want to do that as an option, independent of this, I don't have a concern with that. I would like them to address this, and I don't think it takes a month for them to do it.
Get Brett on the hot seat now.
my thing is too, is that we're a little bit of a time constraint, because when they put the pine straw down. They put the pine straw all over the community.
Doesn't look good for very
And
long.
no, it doesn't. And then, and there is one area, or whatever areas, I don't know which areas. Just won't have them. And if we resolve this in another month. You know, now, I don't know, it's just an unfortunate situation, you know, because it's very, very trouble.
I'll say this and I'll shut up. Number one is Brent has always been responsive. When he knows he makes a mistake, usually,
Right.
that's why I'm surprised he's even bringing this up to us.
I think Joel did.
Joel.
Okay. Yeah, I would take that to Brett and just say, hey, it seems pretty clear. Number two, if he doesn't, my motion would be then, if he doesn't have it addressed within, it shouldn't take them more than a week to either confirm whether or not they put it down or not, to affirm or deny that they're gonna take care of this. If they don't do it within a week, then let's go have another application done by somebody else. We'll send Bill and dispute it.
I think that is Brett's response.
It is.
Correct. It's from 50 to 13. Right?
50 to,
It's about half. He cut the cost about half.
from 50,000?
It wasn't.
What's it said?
It wasn't
I
50.
think they said they were gonna eat, what, half of it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It was 50,000. What does that pick? 13.
13.
That's not that.
Right, well, so they cut it a lot, but I want to ask them about the contract, what it would mean, what is their understanding, see if we can work something out. I mean, I know we have the money, but it does not mean we have to spend it. It just, it's very frustrating for me.
I'm supportive of anything other than spending money out of pocket.
Well, that's my thing. I've been trying to be very paranoid about no, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that.
Yep.
We're not doing anything until like January.
Right, and so it's kind of like,
50 grand out of our, because our budget on landscaping is what, about $200,000?
right,
So a quarter of our budget on something that was their mistake.
so. Anything else? No one's in the waiting room, just so you know.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
I wanted to clarify.
Just want to make sure we're on top of that.
Vendor reports. You have anything else, Russ? That was it? Sorry.
Curbs,
Well,
That's good.
let it rip.
we've had some people.
Further down.
Oh, it's on there? Okay.
Please see.
Yeah, I'm gonna get these agendas more
Yeah.
put together with the stuff that we should be talking about all at once instead of skipping them, you know.
Right.
Quick comment about painting.
Yeah.
We got a very nice email from Jacob Waddle from Grand Manners. Noticed how much painting we've done and how much better the community looks and power washing and keeping clean. And it was a very nice email.
It was. And he's a resident too.
Yeah.
That's why he sent that email. Okay, now we can move on to vendor. Well, do we have anybody from United? No. Because if we did, I'm just saying. Anyone from Premier Lakes?
Yeah, Alex is on.
Oh, cool.
Yes, sir. Alex Kurth, Premier Lakes for the record. I did my ride through prior to the board meeting, and I was quite pleased with what I saw throughout the community. Very, very minimal algae. The lakes that I did see algae on, most of it was on the bottom and just minor foot or two band around the shoreline edges. So overall, we're in really good condition. We're going to continue spraying the algae under the maintenance. Hopefully now that we're getting some cold weather, we'll start to see, a further reduction, but we're confident the addition of utilizing the boat more frequently for treatments combined with our standard treatments has, over the last months, improved it even further from what we had already improved. So I'm quite pleased with the results we're seeing. I did have to note the Lake Reynard fountain was down. We went to take a look at it, and unfortunately, we found a fishing lure had snagged the fountain wire. It's possible that the motor is fine, but it was not running. So the fountain has been pulled and sent back to the manufacturer to see if there is a problem with it. Ideally, manufacturer doesn't know the wire was snagged. Ideally, if there is a problem with it, it'll be fixed under warranty. But until they assess it, I will not have further information on that. And I just want to be transparent with the board. The manufacturer, the last couple of times I've sent a fountain back to them, they are about 6 to 8 weeks prior to getting any feedback. So as soon as I know more, I will let the CDD know, but it will likely be some time before we know what's going on with that motor.
Is there some sort of filter or cover or something we can construct over top of it to filter? Because people are gonna keep fishing it.
Sucked up.
You can put pellets off the wire.
The wire inside the
And I
piece.
sent you really good pictures of the trouble hook going right through the wire.
Trouble hook?
It's not a
It's a lure.
It's not a
Big
conduit.
Big hot wire.
No. You normally don't put it in conduit. You would.
Yeah,
But
so
we could.
Just a fluke thing.
That's a,
A little well.
What it-
Did we have any?
Alan said, I used to install fountains 30 years ago. Direct wires roll it out.
One at a time.
Usually don't have people fishing right there too.
Yeah, we also took a lure off of one of the short circulators.
Those are right there in fishing territory. Is there? Should we consider a different location for the fountain that's outside of fishing range?
That's where the electrics at. Did we consider a couple of signs?
And you'll casting for the
Don't
promenade.
be careful.
Well,
You're almost gonna have to, that or we can maybe,
it's gonna happen again.
Can you
can we put the cable in conduit, Alex?
yeah, we could definitely look at putting the cable and conduit, we would just have to make sure we weight the conduit well, so that way you don't get any air bubbles in there and ends up floating up. But the wire itself should be heavy enough, I would think, to sink the conduit. It's not standard. Usually you just do the
Yeah.
direct wire all the way out, but I don't see a reason why we couldn't do that. It would definitely help protect the wire.
You don't have to conduit the whole way, just 30 feet out. Right. All you need to
Might as well do it pretty much from the end of this picture. Yeah, to about the time it goes up.
A sign that says, you know, conduit wire here, don't. And put different areas you can see from different angles.
There's another sign, signs something by David.
So. I'll get my name and lights. So add that, or should we get a proposal in to get that conduit? Then what's the?
I guess, I mean, we could even help if they need help or whatever.
So we gotta wait, throw it all on his back, and
Yeah.
we might as well do it all at the same time.
Well,
But we get a proposal.
because they're gonna be doing it, I wouldn't wanna wait. I mean, I'd approve up to $1,000 right now. We think that's a reasonable number. Just because if they're gonna be digging this thing up, I don't want them to wait on another board meeting to be able to action something, if there's some reasonable.
No, that's fine, that's fine.
Yeah.
We could go ahead and do that.
Expensive.
Do we know how much he'll?
He can approve that.
He can do it for 50.
Yeah, he wouldn't have to approve that. I mean, all they're doing is
They can
slide,
just go
slide
ahead.
DVC over the cable,
Yeah.
I don't know the matter numbers, so.
A couple $100.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We'll buy the pipe. Tell us what size you want.
Yep, no, it shouldn't be that expensive. We should be able to get that done fairly reasonable.
You have a question, sir?
Yeah, so Alex, I did see the usual report that I'm used to seeing every month that shows me all the ponds and how pretty they are. Is that somewhere we missed it?
Yeah, I do apologize. I did not realize the board meetings around the holidays were forward a week, so my inspection was late, so it did not get there in time for the agenda. I do believe I sent it to Infomark, but if they could share it with you, I can also resend it as well. I unfortunately did not get out there till the 13th. For some reason on my calendar, I had this board meeting for next Tuesday, not today.
We'll get it sent in.
Okay. Yeah, there's a few areas of green fuzz, so I'm curious what you thought about 'em.
The irony is it's Dave's fault. We've changed all the meetings because of his schedule, so.
Not for the holidays, unless you're thinking on Jesus side.
workshops, yes, but not the.
Okay. Any other questions for Premier? Thank you very much.
Okay, Alex.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Clark, do you have anybody from Clark?
No.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Another participant.
Did we get any feedback, anything from our discussion last month where we denied, or are they okay and up and running? Okay, I just want to make sure there wasn't any change to the service. Okay.
District engineer.
Yeah, I got my monthly report. It's relatively short compared to maybe some of the previous reports. Upcoming things that we'll be planning on is meeting with Mattamy. It looks like they are going to want to start scheduling some inspections for phase 2, at least 2A in December, and see how that goes. Start that inspection turnover process. Hopefully it doesn't take 2.5 years like they're saying. Another thing we've been kind of working on is the ponds. I know it's a discussion item in business matters as far as the restoration, but as far as the permit tracking, I did have a conference call with Jan. Kind of went through the list. We've done some more digging. And really looking at some of the permit history stuff that you can find online and the thousands of pages of documents that have pretty much confirmed that per the permit, CDD was to take all these ponds in the golf course. And those were permits that were issued in 1993 and 1995. It is interesting, we did find a transfer of permit in 2002 or so that transferred about 2/3 of the ponds to the golf course.
No indication why they got the third.
No indication. So, unless there's been a transfer, those still sit with the permittee, TCC. Although the TCC did grant, and I'm in the process of kind of updating my master spreadsheet with some easier to read information on some of the easements, but there is an easement that the TCC gave to the CDD specifically for maintenance of these ponds. Not to say that there's some other
So
agreement
those-
with the golf course.
Those need to be transferred to the CDD, and then we need to get agreements with the golf course Because if they've been put in charge of operational control, make sure they're aware of it and that they have to maintain the ponds up to the standard required by the permits.
The other ponds could be also transferred to the golf course too. They agreed to it. Show them, hey, you own 12 out of the 18 ponds. You want these other 6?
And well, interestingly, after the last set of information that Mark found and researching, I suggested it's time for a meeting with the water management district to go through and see why these things happened and where. And I guess Mark told you that you know as much as you know.
Yeah, I did talk with Richard Lott up there, and he said pretty much everything that he's gonna find, we can find on their permitting site. Because there's one specific pond that we have not found a permit for yet, and that is the Crow Pond at 417.
There's no permit at all.
Well, I'm sure there is, but just said that's just not available on the South Florida website.
And possibly it was issued to the state.
Issued to DEP or the
It's
DER.
private highway, yeah.
So we did do some searching there. We found plans for it, but no permit. When I talked to Richard Lott, he kind of punted on that pond to Reedy Creek. So I did talk with Catherine over there, sent her a location of it, and she was gonna do some digging to see if she could find anything on it. But that pond is interesting because there are a few easements from Reedy Creek initially to DOT to maintain the whole pond, all their pipes coming in and the outflow. And then it was transferred from Reedy Creek to TCC, that they assigned that easement over to TCC. In that agreement, it does allow Reedy Creek or TCC to notify DOT that they are relieved of some or all of the maintenance in writing. Don't have any evidence that ever occurred. So, getting the permit to at least see who it was intended to go to would be helpful. And then maybe if there was ever a transfer done with that permit. So we'll keep digging on that one. And even the little pond by the KinderCare, per the permit was supposed to, actually, the original first permit says ECDD. Along with 4 other ponds in North Village, the one down at the end of the Lollipop Loop, and then one along East Park and one other. But then there was a modification when the Gables came into that permit, and then that they took maintenance via a transfer. And then when the KinderCare came in, that permit indicates that it goes to CDD. So that's an interesting one. Because it's fenced off, and I don't think we've ever touched that pond.
The one right on the left as you pull into North Village.
Yeah.
That way, for a long time, we thought it wasn't KinderCare. They were responsible for.
We actually call it that.
They might be
I think they
maintaining.
called the county on KinderCare to have them make that thing look good.
So maybe that was part of their plans or their permits for the county.
I just can't believe they're so hard to find.
Oh, it's been, Mark's done a masterful job. It's been months of.
Mark, you talking about this one?
Tracking these things.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I believe that one's fenced in. I don't know if it's a chain link fence.
It's PVC fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it couldn't be part of their county permitting for their on-site drainage. That nobody realized was tied to the.
But there is a transfer on that that says going to the CDD, so. So it's not in the district's concern unless there's some other document that would trump that. As far as the state's concerned, it's the CDDs.
So go back on the golf course one for a second. I thought I heard you saying one thing and then I thought I heard you saying something entirely different. Was the majority of the 2/3 that were transferred to us,
To the golf course,
to the golf course? Okay.
from us by TCC.
So we never had any.
Several years after the permit and the site was done, they might have realized that, hey, this was never transferred. There was a time in the early 2000s where the district was trying to clean up a lot of transfers because we were getting letters from not only for projects we were involved with, but projects we weren't, saying, hey, can you help certify this complete? So we'd go out and inspect, survey in some cases, the control structure was ever certified complete and get it transferred. TCC may have gotten a letter on that one, and they realized, well, we want the golf course to have it for some reason. Or an earlier board in the early 2000s when maybe Disney still kind of controlled things, wanted the golf course to have it versus the CDD. At least
Are the other third, is there some logic as to why those third is like on the outer perimeter that butts up against our property?
they are the ones along Waterside one of the ponds on Jasmine, the more upstream one hasn't been transferred, but the bigger one where it discharges the wetland, and then one right at the end of Golf Park, right here, Golf Park and campus, one that's got the retaining wall around the green, and then the other one down at the other end of Golf Park. As you come in over the bridge. So kind of right along the roads. Not sure why those ones were different. Those were part of the earlier permits. Those were permitted first, and 93 and then 95 kind of includes some other ones. So
what may be as important, I mean, you got golf course property and you got CDD property on the same pond. Do we really want to start changing stuff or have the golf course come over here on our side and vice versa?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, then what are we doing from here? I'm glad that we got a baseline.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where we need to get to the point with the baseline. We're sure it's right on all the ponds. And then I know, Mark, you did all the work of figuring out who's maintaining which side. You guys help give
yeah,
look at it and come back and say, okay, we think we're the golf course, like we're each gonna do half and understanding that they're doing their half and we're doing our half, but they have to comply with all permit conditions. I mean, if we're sharing obligations,
yeah.
we need to make sure we know that,
Those ponds?
that they're doing.
So yeah, the ponds that haven't been transferred, we do mow at least a portion of them, we do treat them.
So those we should get transferred so they're not in TCC. I mean, there's ones that look like they just got missed.
And the only unknown I really have on maintenance is the grow pond. I don't think when you guys filled out, kind of the yes and no's on whether you mow or treat them, that one wasn't.
The force machine bond.
Yeah. Do we treat that one?
I mean, I would,
We agreed to treat it till we configured.
Yeah.
All the stuff out. We didn't want
When we
to,
mow it, so we treat it.
we didn't want
If
to
it'd
say,
be a
Yeah, we can't find a
state
permit
law,
to know. who-
obviously, we would not want the state to maintain that, because it looked like, you know what?
That's why there's a chain link fence around it.
And they'll look at the
DOT
easement to see if the easement, who owns the actual property?
Grow. And that's more recent title work because it was done when the civic order was platted, so I guess there's some recent title work there. That showed these 4 easements.
Gotta look at the easements now to see how it's drafted and does it go to somebody else or
I mean,
is it intended to be?
that one notwithstanding is still an open question mark. I guess my simplified question would be, is there a reason we wouldn't just align the ownership and the titles and the documents to how they're being maintained, even if it's not being maintained by who's owning it right now?
Yeah.
It's
we
It's
definitely
generally
need-
working,
Definitely need to get an agreement with the golf course.
right?
These are what you're permitted, this is what are permitted, this is how we agree to maintain. So there's no question that they're doing it and that they're complying with the permit conditions of our permits and their permits. So we've got an agreement we can whip together pretty quickly and we've used for other golf courses, but most of the time, water management, it's a government or an HOA is in charge. I'm kind of surprised that the CDD and the golf course actually was named an operational entity.
There's some interesting declaration covenants and restrictions as well. That went from the TCC to the golf course. It just kind of outlines how they maintain it, how their signage looks, what they sell in the golf shop, they can't sell in the golf shop and all that sort of stuff. But there is one section in there, and I don't know if I sent that to you to Jan or not, but
So that-
basically says that the owner shall maintain all water hazards. Pond water hazard doors, only where they have the red stakes, which would just be the golf course side. Interpret that, but
Yeah.
I found that kind of interesting reading through it.
So if it's working now, I mean, we can sort of draft it, so we'll keep it doing the way it is, but just lay out the actual legal responsibility. Make sure everybody's.
I mean, are you at the point where you need that guidance from us as far as the recommendation, or?
No,
I'm not sure.
No, we still have to.
no, I think this is nothing.
Yeah, this is an update on, I haven't forgotten you, it's just been a lot more work than sort of figured it's either gonna be in the CDD name or in TCC and it hadn't got transferred, sort of surprised at all these random other conveyances.
It's also like the ponds that were transferred to the golf course, it's like, I'm not sure who made that decision to do that, but then the golf course with the TCC gave the CDD an easement to maintain those ponds. So it's like they wanted to be purple, but then they assigned the responsibility over to the city. Should have just done that with the transfer. I don't know
Which-
why would you do it by an easement, but.
It was probably intended to belong to be CDD. That's why there were easements, because that would have been rolling out.
My only concern is the one golf course / CDD pond that has a fountain. Is the CDD at any risk for exposure having somebody else's fountain?
Is that the driving?
Nope, whole shit. Maybe more.
I don't think that's CDD pond.
Next to the window?
That's fine then.
You pushed it.
That's, it's our pond.
It's our pond.
That along water side?
It is the end of Acadia.
There's a the cart path on the other side of it though. That's golf course cart path.
It's that, it's got a fountain and the white or pink house
Oh, the pink house?
right at the end. It's in between, it's the pond in between 14 and 15.
You know, there's golf court. I don't think we touch outside of all these things. There's all around it.
It's our pond and there's a fountain.
Well, there's an easement to get to it. I think we maybe.
Easy to
cleared that.
get to it, but we don't maintain
I
it.
think we've cleared the control structure.
There's a fountain in there.
Hold on, this is where everyone's talking now again.
Okay, why doesn't Mark investigate that one?
That's what I was gonna say.
Back and figure out who really owns it and
Yes.
it's permitted.
I know CDD owns it, which is why I was throwing that in really in your court. See if we have a immediate risk or exposure because of that.
If we own it, yes, unless there's a permit putting somebody else in joint operation.
That was one that was transferred to the golf course.
So we argue the golf course has the ultimate liability, but we need an agreement, so we say anything that we own and permits in their name, they need to do it.
All right.
There is an easement that I think it was the declarations, but basically, yeah, CDD to. CDD gave TCC an easement, so an easement that went from the CDD to TCC, basically allowing for golf course access, plane maintenance. Anything to do with golfing around the CDD ponds. Doesn't specifically obligate the CDD to maintain the ponds, but I believe there was some language, not interfere with the CDD's ability to maintain the ponds. Just kind of made reference there. That was an interesting one. So I almost shot.
Still more work to do then
Still more work
next,
to do.
next month we might have a conclusion.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, and for
We're
this,
talking
this.
about hundreds of easements.
That's code for no.
Yeah.
Yes,
Trying to-
that is correct.
You're pushing, but you're pushing a rock. It ain't moving.
Yeah.
Well, this was all circle up with Jan and then.
Agree, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like so far, the only agreement is the golf course.
I
that
think, figuring out why those weren't transferred and going ahead and transferring them.
Anything else, Mark?
Flat out there from Mattamy as well, and we got. Did you comment on that one yet?
Not yet.
Neither, okay.
Phase 3 plat they submitted. So. Just to kind of go through it.
You're up. Okay. I'm up on the happy discussion of the approval of the county interlocal agreement for signage. I gave you some comments that Dave sent. Dave got a number of emails that he probably didn't hear for, but we have to remember that the state has legal authority to regulate signage. And because it is taken over by the state, we don't have the ability to go in and regulate signage. So, we get ready.
Are we ready to discuss?
We agreed to some of the changes. I think the county will come back, and I hesitate to send anything that we are so absolutely know the county will not agree to, because we don't want to start off.
These are
anything
the
just-
red lines that this is your language I suggest.
Yes.
Most of it. And then Greg also asked for, so after this went out, a change to add in where we say they can't put informational, directional, temporary, or aesthetic signs. He suggested, enforcing that, yes, a
Just
clarification.
Clarify.
Includes those movable, thingies.
That was my suggestion, was
Yeah.
just to add,
Oh, yeah, we had talked about.
for avoidance of doubt, this includes big orange signs that talk about it.
Yeah, and I did comment to Jan afterwards. Thing with my review was, unless it's legally required. So
Yeah.
for example, if there was road
Right.
construction or if there was voting, whatever the law states you must have, well, we can't say no. But for,
Take a shot.
concerts or.
The first line covers it. I mean, they're gonna install anything necessary for traffic regulation. I mean, if they feel they need it for traffic, they're gonna put it in, whether we say, however, you can't put anything else out there, including all this fluff.
So the issue that I have with this is that it still does not define what a traffic control sign is. And if we want to go through all the pictures of the signs that are all around town, so that we say, all right, is this traffic control? Is this traffic control?
Traffic control signage is everything in 316, which is covers under the state or the national transportation, say, whatever that thing that you referenced that I don't know.
Let me rephrase it.
It incorporates that in the statute.
If I show a sign that says parking, or if I show a directional sign, who determines if that is traffic control?
There should be a county sticker on the back of the signs.
There is a manual that lays out every single sign that is permitted for traffic control.
It's not for us to make the determination, anyway, should perform to what method that they utilize,
Exactly.
right? So I
If they
don't know
want-
how we say it. I don't,
Yeah.
how are they saying?
Well, that's just, we do, and I'll tell you why. It's because this is the only place that I'm aware of where they're trying to put signs in property they don't own. So we have the primacy of our property rights. So if they could just do whatever they want, we wouldn't need this agreement. They would just say, listen, by this statute, we're going to put a sign here, there's nothing you can do about it, but they're not.
That's because the county, well, probably TCC wanted to be able to keep the verges nicer than the county. So they agreed in the early plating to have those be owned by the CDD as opposed to normally the verges are always owned and
This was
sidewalks are
driven
owned
by
by the county.
DEP
Yes.
from an Aesthetic standpoint to protect the preserve the Disney.
And there are
Which I don't disagree with.
and St. Cloud now is doing that for new CDDs because they don't want the liability of the folks. So therefore,
But I think
the statute envisions that a roadway and traffic signage is going to be in the land adjacent.
But to pull in data, because I'm pulling up statute 316 to see if there's a list of pictures of signs.
No, there's not. There's references of manual.
Going back to the draft agreement that was half signed but never fully signed, that was coming out of the PUD, where we would have the option as a district to exercise the authority to do street side parking controls. That to me becomes the gray area, because if we're saying parking signage falls under 316, well, that's an authority that's clearly contemplated in the PUD, something we can exercise that no, we want to control. And I'm not saying we haven't, but I don't want to acquiesce that in this agreement, because that's still a discussion for a
not
workshop
sure.
we haven't had for a year.
I'm not sure that PUD is legal, to be honestly. I mean, I think we could have the county and say we want to enforce it, but technically they have all enforcement abilities. They can say yes or no to the signs we want up there. We have to use the prescribed signage.
You're saying
They're
that-
just letting the CDD decide where they want to put traffic parking controls. And if we want to put, them, we're gonna have to pay for the signage and the meters or whatever else we want out there.
So part
We're
of
not giving up the discretion.
part of the problem is early on in celebration, the roads belong to CDD. Sorry, the roads belong to the CDD, didn't know this? So the
What are you talking about?
They were probably constructed with CDD bond money, so CDD owned them and then transferred them to.
That's exactly what happened. So
That's how it works everywhere, right?
no. Well, but that, why are you surprised?
Because the CDD never owned and maintained and operated the roads.
They just
It's
put
a
it
funding
in.
mechanism.
Yeah.
It's a funding mechanism.
Correct.
I agree.
But technically, it wasn't the county.
Right, funded it, but not maintained it. I mean, there's a distinction.
I guess what I'm saying is, in that construction phase, there's a lot of stuff that Disney could have done, which is exactly what it did. Okay. Now, CCDD, when they transferred over, they had to repair certain areas. They did have to repair certain areas before they handed it over to the county. The county inspected it and said, before we take it, you need to fix it. And that is what the CCD did. They fixed roads. And then after that, now we have what we have. And so I think over time we lost a little of that control because Disney isn't in the room, technically. The county says this is what we're doing.
So,
I raised my hand, I get to go first.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, that's, and then you.
Can we ask the county to specifically delineate what they think are the signs that fall under 316?
No.
Or not?
We can. 316 lists the manual that the signage is laid out.
Well, but you're saying 316 doesn't delineate, I'm looking on the web, hey, what traffic control signs fall under 316? I would expect a stop sign or
Hold on.
speed sign, but.
Let Rick
Traffic
finish.
control devices is defined. I can't find it right offhand. I mean, I think the alternative is you say,
Yeah,
"Connie, we're not gonna agree to it, so just come take it by eminent domain, and they'll just take an easement over all our property and hate this CCDD forever. I think we have to be somewhat
That's the nuclear
cautious. That's the nuclear option, is we say, you know what, we don't wanna give you any authority. We don't believe you have the authority to do this. We wanna. And we also have the liability. If we suddenly start saying that, you know, we don't like arrow signs because there's too many arrow signs here and there, and then somebody gets run over because there's no arrow sign that we said no to, then we're liable.
The county, if we today, because that's our property, got rid of every single sign in the verge.
Can't do that.
Well, hold on. The county, just like they do in urban areas, can put signs in their right of way. In between the curb to curb. They can hang them overhead, they can paint them on the street. You can do traffic control without utilizing our verge.
I don't think the residents would like that.
Well, that's a different point. I'm just setting a.
Well, I live in both
Understand.
points. I don't.
Just let me finish.
Okay.
Right. So that is the nuclear option. Would it not be? And how?
No,
So
the
you're-
nuclear option is they would just take easements by eminent domain over our property.
And so,
They can do a taking without any, I mean, if they came and said, we need the reason, they go to court, they get the property, they get a taking, and then we can fight out whether it's worth something to us.
Okay,
Do they
well,
need to pay us?
I'm not here to assume what the
Yes.
county's gonna do. I think this is part of the ability to say, county, we're not happy with the way the signs are around here. We'd like to have some input on that. And come to it. The whole reason I started this is to have a negotiation with the county on signage. And we haven't done that. All we've got is this document. I want to go through the process of sitting down face to face with the county and saying, we want to get more control over how signage is done here. I think that between the two organizations would be able to produce a document that we'd all be happy with.
I don't think they're gonna do it.
Well,
Okay, so
Guys.
hold on.
Not only that, you have to be careful when you're sitting down in front of the county and the verbiage that you use, because the last thing we want them to do is to be able to come back and say, oh, well, they don't want these health and safety signs in. And then it becomes a bigger issue than a directional sign or a no parking sign or something like that. And you don't want to get into that because that's not going to end well for us.
Okay.
Correct. So I agree with you. There's a workshop we should have had a year ago. Because I've got other concerns going to curb painting is if the entire street side traffic control piece.
yes.
I'm confused by because we've got, as an example, we've got some areas where there's no parking fire signs. And you got other areas where it's a yellow box. And you got other areas where it's a yellow box plus yellow curb. And you got other areas where it's none of the above, but it's delineated in state statute, thou shalt not park within 20 feet of a whatever because of what. There's no consistency of how both the curbing and the signing is done. I'm where I want to be careful, and I know to Angel's point is I don't want this to be an academic exercise of retaining authority simply for the sake of winning an argument of retaining authority. I want to understand what's the end goal for us? What are we trying to get at this? I would like to be able to get consistency on the signage. I do not want to get into one guy's vote. I don't want to get into, listen, if they want to put up 20 stop signs or 20 speed limit signs and all that, that is wholly within their discretion to do so, and I think it's reasonable that we should give them that. On the flip side of that, I gotta admit, I'm a little pissed that we came out of last meeting saying, hey, we're gonna be reviewing this thing, and what happened between last meeting and this meeting? They went up and put up the damn signs anyway. And I don't
They
do.
probably don't know that we're still doing this thing.
Well, did they get a signed copy of the document from us saying, here we go, we agree
No,
to it? Well, that's my
we're
point.
going another month later.
Right.
So,
Well, they don't have to.
So
They don't.
Have to do anything.
it's not the county putting signs up in Island Village.
what's that?
It's not the county putting the signs up in Island Village.
But they were doing it,
It's Mattingly Homes.
but they were doing it under pressure from the,
That's.
regardless, whatever.
From the county.
We need to have,
DOT.
if, my last comment is, if we are going to pursue this line of thinking, we need to do what we talked about doing a year ago, which is having a workshop determining what the desire of the board is and constraints with what legally we can do. And stop talking about this shit.
Agreed. I mean, if there are certain types of signs or inconsistency, that certainly merits meeting county.
Yeah.
But I mean, to try to control it through an agreement where we say we want to get involved in their jurisdiction, we can.
Hmm.
County has original jurisdiction over, traffic control of all streets and highways in the county.
And I think we'll find there are gonna be
Yeah.
reasonable things we're looking to do and reasonable things they're looking to do and then have legal language to align to that. Right now, we don't. They thought we had signed the document 20 years ago that we never signed.
Yeah.
There's.
That you're saying now you're not even sure legally could be signed. Let me repeat it. Now, that's 7 different variables of things I don't even know. Sorry, I'm done.
Because they want to put signs on our property. I want to have a discussion with them on exactly what the process procedure would be in order to delineate what signs
So
constitute traffic control.
where we had
Because
left
I
this,
think that's fully defined.
where we had left this before, my recommendation is we were leaving it between, do we just go straight from here and say we want a meeting with the county? Or do we want to workshop just internally to say, hey, as a board, what's the will of this board? So then we can go to the county with a consistent, I don't know that they want to, I don't know that we want them sitting in a meeting with us all sitting here figuring out which way we want to go. My recommendation would be an internal workshop first,
Right.
just with us to see what's reasonable, what's the will of the board, and then figure out what we're
You
going
want
to do.
some examples of the.
No.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's the question. What is it that we're objecting to? I mean,
Did you want to?
So I had a scenario which I gone over this in my head over and over and over again. So we have these mandatory signs, like stop signs. I'll call them mandatory for whatever, reason, or required signs, stop signs, functional signs, everything else. Okay. And then you have these optional signs, nice to have, like, what?
Hospital this way.
Well, no, hospital this way, or those I think is required, but some other signs, okay? But then the county comes in, right? And they put up signs, and they kind of did that a little bit down in the village. Where they put up required signs and they put up some signs that maybe would be regarded as optional signs. And so the county comes in and, those are optional, we don't want them. County goes, those are required. Now what? Right? That's my only question. I'm not like, I'm just in a situation of they say, no, those are required. And we say, no, those aren't. So then what do we do?
I would let them articulate. I agree with you. That may be a conversation. I would let them articulate that to us as to why they need them. If they're going to say something that reasonably is a traffic control thing that's going to put us at liability, I don't think there's anybody on this board that's going to say we're going to go.
No, I agree. I'm just the scenario I was thinking.
Yeah.
And plus, the next question I think what the county would ask for is, so are you looking to go ahead to approve all the signs we do? Right? Because if I were them, that would be the next logical step. Like if we're having a meeting and talk about this, they said, so we have to run our approval through you. Right? If I were them, that's what I would be asking.
I think it's dangerous to presuppose what the county would do at all until you talk to them.
if the county will sit and talk with you. I mean,
They
they,
haven't asked yet.
Can we get some pictures of some of the signs that you guys don't like?
I've got under.
No, seriously.
He's
And I'm not talking about downtown, but anywhere else.
Yes.
In the interest of moving this along, can I suggest we find a date now? Because we tend to let this drop if we don't.
Well,
we
we would,
also don't want to hold up Melody's plat too.
Right.
Because they look like I got the county to be able to approve their last plat because they were holding it up for months because of this issue.
Isn't that what they just did?
They got one plat, but the agreement was we were gonna enter some kind of agreement or work out something that they had access to the verges to put their signs that are in place throughout.
And then they put the signs in anyway. Or did I?
That was already part of their, I think their approved plan, wasn't it?
No.
I have
No,
I have
the 40.
idea.
Added 40 signs.
Yeah.
Beyond the approved plan.
And that's my point. I mean, the reason. They're gonna do it.
That is
Okay,
probably,
first.
probably a totally different department who put the signs up than the guy that did the development plan on the plat review. Just my gut feeling about the county works.
So what exactly are we going to discuss at this workshop?
I would like to talk about the fire lane piece. Because we're even talking about fire lane. I assume we're talking about who's paying for yellow paint. Was that the?
No, it's not who's paying for it. It goes back to the discussion like we did around the Katie's full. We pressure washed for years as a gratis, and then the board said, no, it's not our property. We probably shouldn't have been doing it from the beginning, but it was a good partner type thing. The painting is the same thing.
It's
If
the
you-
county.
If you do it for one, there's a ton of areas throughout the community that you're going to have to get to allow for as well. And the next thing is we need to make sure it's in our budget. Staff has a plan to get these paintings done. And then how frequently, I don't know what the frequency is of getting them painted to keep up, up with them. The other thing is, yeah, it is the county's responsibility, but are they gonna come out and do it as they haven't
No.
yet? So there's your thing. That's what we need to decide.
And on the flip side, that yes.
That's.
Yes,
The
bringing-
county will not paint curbs.
Yeah.
And that's bringing to their attention that agreement is not a real agreement because the CDD never adopted it.
Right.
At that point, I'll go out and email them as a resident, say you haven't painted the fire lane on a curb for 25 years. If you're saying it's statutorily required, you're in violation of your own code. Go paint the damn thing.
That's pretty much up to Enterprise to do that.
The fire.
In front of the fire.
Yeah, in front of the fire hydrant says, we're talking about painting the curbs. There's a bunch of celebration areas that residents are asking, when are they gonna paint?
Just in front of the post office, those are all the same thing.
When they're gonna paint. So again, if you do it for one, there's a lot of areas that you're gonna have to do it.
Well,
for.
and I would like to the question, the agenda, I would like to be able to do this in one shot and give guidance to staff as far as here's what we're doing, here's what we're not doing.
Agreed.
So we can stop talking about this.
Agreed.
That's why it's on the agenda.
Well.
The challenge with us painting curbs, we have no enforcement over that. So when we paint the curb yellow, the counties want to have some force no parking or.
I agree with you. I have a separate challenge with enforcement that we'll talk about separate, but I need consistent marking before I can talk about consistent enforcement.
Okay, so we want to have.
We need to go back to this county interlocal
Yeah.
before we
Okay.
can move on.
Okay.
So are we gonna delay this discussion for the board to have a workshop to talk about which signs we don't like? I'm just not sure how we would express that to the county.
Exactly the way you just said it.
Yes. We are here to define what signs are optional and mandatory. That's what we're trying to get to.
Okay, and they have total jurisdiction. I mean, I can.
And if they want to exercise that, they'll
It's fine,
exercise it.
But if we have an agreement that
We-
mandates.
They're not
We
gonna agree to
can't.
it.
They can't agree to us. We don't have.
That's the agreement we have before us, isn't that what we're trying to do?
Yeah. This is in our property, but you're talking about they have the total jurisdiction for traffic signage. If we say, no, take all your signs out right now, as I told you, they'll go to court. They're not gonna put them in the asphalt.
If they're not gonna agree to anything other than exactly what they wrote in there in their first draft, then I don't even know why we're having a conversation.
That we don't know that. I haven't,
Yeah.
I want to be able to have that conversation with.
I agree.
I don't know who you're gonna have the discussion with. Right? And didn't we try to talk one time about having someone from the county here to talk about signs a year
I
ago?
would talk with Ray Stengel, who's the
And he
development
refused.
manager, and I talk with,
Then we,
And they refused.
then
Right.
They refuse?
Yeah.
I would like to have that correspondence.
yeah, first I heard that.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize we'd asked him to come to a meeting because we hadn't talked about it internally.
Y'all asked us to ask them to come to a meeting. That was direction by the board.
Yes, to have a workshop on signage.
Right.
Do we have anything in writing that says they're done? Was it just a phone?
I
call?
don't. I don't have
You know,
anything in writing.
I just remember you saying they wouldn't come because
Phone call.
they don't know what to discuss on signage.
Yeah, there's nothing to discuss on signage is basically what they said. And you also get passed around to like 4 different people because it's like, oh, first I got road and bridge, then it was ordinance, then it was this, and then it was this. So there's not a
Like,
dedicated.
even if it's
person.
just me, I would like the opportunity to talk to Ray Stengel because he would be the approving authority on the county, as far as I understand. In order to have this conversation, because I have,
I want to hear the same conversation. I think we all do.
Well, I guess let's set a workshop and invite him again and see if they'll come. He's the guy who's holding up plats.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's all we can do again is
He's looking at plats.
yes, he's the one who was holding up the plat because when we talked to the county attorney looking for any agreements for that, and he said, no, there weren't any.
What dates are we recommending?
Well,
Let's see.
that's the tricky part, because I understand we're gonna need to pick dates and see when we're available, but the real question is, when are they available?
Well, that's why
Right, so.
It's the date,
Yeah.
we don't know.
I would pick 3 or 4, just since we're sitting here.
Well, it's the holiday, so keep that in mind because you're gonna probably get next to nothing on a response till the
Oh, I know.
1st of January, for sure.
First week of January.
January 6th, 13th.
I think about the 5th and the 6th.
We're just looking at Tuesdays? Yeah,
Not necessarily for me. I'm gonna be really days. I'm just out Monday, Tuesday. I do my birthday on the 12th. Be a great birthday present.
I'll put a sign out front for that.
Well, if you paint.
Use a green pole.
Right now I'm available
When?
almost all of January.
Pick a date, Dave. 13th.
I can do 6th, 13th. And I'm free. I will not be the holdup.
6th or 13th is fine.
Keep it on Tuesday.
Okay, 13th, 20th,
Yeah, 6th, 13th, 20th. Okay.
or our meeting the 27th if they can't do others.
I prefer not the 6th, just because I won't be here.
So
Wednesday?
workshop on the 20th, January,
Or 20th.
Or 13th or something.
or the 13th. Okay,
So,
reach out with those 2 dates.
And just for clarification, if he comes back and says no, do we still intend to hold a workshop or are we dead in the water?
well, if they're not gonna meet with us, what are we gonna do?
It takes 2 to tango, so.
It's just making sure.
Okay.
We can still have
Clear on what we're talking about.
sing Kumbaya.
Very
Yeah, and it would be helpful to have a better idea of what it is we are objecting to, because
Right.
I can't articulate that now, other than we just don't want too many signs.
That's why I was recommending to begin with that we do this as an internal meeting until we have
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna,
consensus of the board.
But
we're
see,
bringing him in to tell him what? Nothing.
That's what
So
we
then
should
we
say.
don't want a lot of signs.
Prior to that, I think we could have, we got runway of a couple months. You could have a conversation of examples and articulate it before the board meeting and.
I've got all the
That would be
signs, got all the signs in question right here, in which I've emailed before, as a zip file.
That's what the board's going with? Is
I've
the
got
files that Dave
got
sent
about-
over?
30 signs of question.
Have we seen these?
No,
Right.
I haven't seen it.
do we, are they on the shared drive?
I was gonna say, put them on the shared drive.
Yeah, put them on the share drive and everybody can go look at them.
Because I would probably like to break them. They're, when we just talking about just this plethora of signs, they're gonna go, what? I would do that. I would have them in different sections, so it's kind of like we're talking about these, right? We don't have a problem with these. You know, can you see? Correct.
And I will send you a one-liner sentence to add on it, just consistency of fire lane painting and curb painting. Whatever he adds, throw that on top of it.
Oh, okay.
And before you get into that, let's talk about that fire lane painting. Because I know you're talking about the fire lane is supposed to have 20 feet on each side of it. Years ago, Celebration, because we had limited parking, begged and begged and begged and got the fire department to do it less.
Yep.
Okay, so we have parking.
So
Now,
10 foot?
it is
I'm not trying to-
basically 7 feet on each side.
I'm not suggesting that we should be dictating where fire lanes should and should not be. That's the last thing I want to do. I just want consistency of it.
Well, here's my issue. I don't want to deal with painting them. Because we're not the experts on this subject matter.
Mhm.
If it's in the road, it doesn't get affected by this agreement.
So I'm afraid. Completely agree with consistency. I'm living on the same thing. But we're actually opening hornet's nest with this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because what's gonna happen, and I'm not supposing, I guarantee you this is what's gonna happen. Yeah, you're right. That's the rule. Guess what? You losing a third of your parking downtown, because we're gonna make. And sometimes it's just best to certain things, just leave it. Because agreement, we weren't here when some of this stuff is happening. This is the problem. This town is very complicated. Because there were so many different things that were happening. I'm just afraid that they'll come in going, what's the biggest one? All right, we'll be consistent, and it won't be the consistent you thought it was gonna be.
You lose half your parking.
Right, you will.
Problem.
Yeah, no, I have that same concern, that if we start saying there's certain signs we don't like or too many, we'll suddenly get many more.
I just.
It's just.
Being being on the last street in town, having to have a fire engine go through every other street in order to get to my house in case my house catches on fire, I'd like to know that the fire department has proper access. I know we're opening up a different can of worms on that. But if they come through and start looking and say, yeah, we do have some fire lane issues. There's a reason they put the fire code the way they do. And
Well, they have a responsibility to get to your house. Right? I mean, they can go the wrong way in the street.
They can move cars.
They can go through windows.
Road for 17 years. I know we can move cars.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's an issue. I think they will get there.
And I believe the fire chief came and did an
They
inspection.
did a whole inspection.
Community of.
And
People weren't very happy with what the fire,
He didn't like what he did.
yeah, they wanted to block.
He acquiesced on it.
It wasn't,
Whatever.
it wasn't pretty.
He backed off what the fire code was.
Don't mess with
This whole not long.
don't start going there.
Okay, so we're not gonna propose this. Manamee's plat may get held up again if we put
Well,
this out.
so here's the problem. We held it up a month. Okay, we held it up a month. And now we're gonna hold it up, well, 2 more months? And then out of the workshop, we're gonna go ahead and I don't know what's gonna come out of that, right? And then we're gonna meet again because we're gonna negotiate, right? Because it's not gonna be one meeting if they show, right? That just seems like a bad way of doing business. I think that's really, really bad. That's just my opinion. I would approve it.
It's not our. The fact that they've messed this up and don't have something in place at that point is not our problem. We're trying to rectify this by getting to a solution. So it shouldn't
Correct.
be pressured to do that.
I'm not, I would approve it. I think that waiting 3 or 4 months, that
Yeah, I mean, we do have liability in a sense, you know, if there's anything, an accident happens, I mean, or, well, we're holding it up, but also if an accident happens and somebody says the sign was missing, CDD, it's your land. They pull us in a lawsuit and then we say, well, we had no agreement. Yeah, I mean, it'd be better to have an agreement. You say you're responsible for putting it in, maintaining it, so that we can say we are not responsible. We have an agreement that they acknowledge.
When you have your workshops and the signs get taken out, they get taken out.
I'd like to have that conversation with the county.
We got this 13th or the 20th.
I mean,
Is there any-
I would call for a motion to approve
Make a
this.
motion.
Make a motion to approve this.
Second.
With the added language.
With the added language
Yeah,
for temporary, and nothing's
Wait.
gonna happen for a long time. I mean, the county.
In lieu of.
Hold on, so that's for, who
Motion.
made the motion? Shell, you seconded it. All right, now we have discussion.
So this is a motion to do what?
Have a workshop and ask them.
To approve this.
To submit this to the county attorney.
And then we
To
can
be-
talk about having the workshop.
We already have from the board directive to reach out to Ray Stengel to see if he is available for a workshop on either January 13th or January 20th to discuss
Yeah.
signage.
That's what I thought our next step was.
That wasn't my motion.
Yeah, no.
I agree with that, but my motion
Yep.
was to
Is
approve
what-
this.
And it will take some time to get through this. Yeah.
But why would I approve this before we have a discussion with accountants?
Because I think it's.
This would material,
Responsible of all this.
could materially change based on our conversation.
And they can pull it out then.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, after the fact.
If they acquiesce on it, they change it.
Yeah, the county's
I'll
next
tell
meeting,
you
this,
as well.
like last meeting's December 15th. They're not gonna be hearing this or looking at it before.
They pulled in signs before and celebrate.
And honestly, Dave, I don't disagree with you. Lose leverage. I would also use it if he's already telling us, no, he's not coming to a meeting. I would tell him, hey, we approved this, but we really did this on good faith because we'd like to have a conversation. Can you please take 2 hours out of your day? to come to a meeting? We approved this with concerns.
For sure.
And I can, when I submit this to the county attorney, I'll
You
copy
should.
Ray and just say that, we want to get something in writing, so.
We're trying to be
clarify
consultative.
this.
Well,
So we really would like to meet to be able to talk about some of
I
the.
think the
things.
goal is just not to hold this up. So we're not the
Right.
bad partner with them.
You can have another consequence to that. David.
then can we make this a conditional approval? Condition on that, we have this meeting with the county in order to.
It's as if we didn't approve it.
If,
Yes, indeed.
if they say no, then
Well-
this gets held up. I don't think.
I think
Wait,
we
I'm
said-
sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt y'all. So wait, what exactly was the
I'm sorry.
motion?
I'm sorry. All right,
Yeah.
because I don't see who it is up here.
I'll go over it with you later, Melissa.
Okay, thank
The
you.
motion- The motion was approving as is, and that was the second.
To
We
submit.
need a motion to amend it if
With
we're
the
gonna.
one change.
Yes, but it
Yeah.
is.
Additional.
Yes, the digital signs.
And number 4, you got a typo. 20 has, just saying.
I would agree with moving forward with this until we have this.
Well, is there any more discussion? We put it to a vote.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Asking for the workshop.
The 13th or the 20th, or, one of those dates. Unless they come back with another date, then I can send something out to the entire board saying this day and this day's not available, but they did recommend the 11th or whatever that looks like.
Yeah, and I'll coordinate with you so we can.
If it's,
Okay.
if it's possible, and I don't want to complicate things. But if they said we could meet early December, or we could, in your discussion with them.
Yes.
Come back, yeah,
I
absolutely.
I don't want to like ixnay December. Do it. If it's.
Yeah.
Do it, I will find time in the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they come back with a December date or something like that, absolutely, we'll reach out and see if that date's available with all of you and schedule a meeting.
Okay.
Just need a few days to advertise, but it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
We would advertise as a meeting in case there's something that you have to
Decision
vote on
making,
or take action on. We wouldn't do it as a workshop.
All right,
District manager.
that's right.
Before Carrie gets into that, I mean, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole on this, but I know. So Brett basically said the beds were added after they started, which expanded the contractual need. The budget was increased last year due to that. I'm confused. We are eating more pine straw than what is quoted. We can circle up in the morning if that helps. So basically, he's saying it changed after the budget was approved. And Carrie, is that accurate or am I saying that wrong?
That's not accurate.
No,
There were beds that were added last year that didn't get put into this year's budget.
right.
An estimating this.
Correct.
There's a timeline issue right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're missing the point.
On the process is they're supposed to come through each time they're mulching and reassess the cost, right?
Yes.
Beds were added after we started, which expanded the contractual need. I mean, what does that mean other than what it is?
That was last year.
The budget was increased last year due to that.
Okay.
So,
After you start.
You guys are-
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm missing here.
That area does not have 13, again, that area does not need 13,000. I'll hire a garden club.
You mean bales of
Yeah.
2,200? Okay,
None.
so we're talking about one specific area.
Well, he only mentioned one area, and that was the 417 near North Village, where we had the little bushes on each side.
Okay,
And I'm sure, and the tree where they made some of the beds bigger in the middle, that was their recommendation, and they did it. They didn't account for it.
got it.
That's not us.
I'll have.
That's not as Greg said. That's Mootsie, right? I mean, that's on them.
And they went much heavier on Island Village beds than they had.
Well, he said he had a conversation and everybody understood that, is what he put in his text message.
I
So
understood,
that's why
but
was like,
I contested it like 3 or 4 times. That's,
Okay.
I'm still not understanding how this goes. And I guess I wasn't buying it, and then he went ahead and said, we're gonna work something out.
Okay, okay.
Cause I'm just not buying it.
I'll pull
You
you
can
in
send
in
Mark
the
to-
morning to that, because that's what he said. He had a conversation, so he's confused while we're confused.
Well, we can have, I'm available at some point.
I'll call you
We
before
could-
when
we
I
could-
call him. Okay, yeah, I wasn't.
Cause
part
I
of
could
that.
be as confused too.
All right, perfect.
It's not confusing, enforce the contract.
No, that's gonna be where it's at. Anything else, Angel?
No, that's all I had. I just didn't want to. Is he a text that? Because I asked him,
Okay,
what's
all right.
the issue?
Don't text them again. Wait till we get on the meeting.
Yeah, we're done.
Are we moving on to business items?
So we need to formally do the agenda for the sheriff's meeting.
70.
Is it just the discussion of,
Oh, that is under district manager.
Details.
That's what I said, yeah, okay.
Let's give details. We're gonna discuss the enforcement of the e-bikes and stuff.
I came up with a list from our last meeting, which was looking at the annex here at this building. The need for a blotter,
Yeah.
we're getting a blotter, the ability to direct the details that we paid for. Focus on e-bikes and trespassing.
That's two different items, right?
Right, Halloween. Well, holiday management.
Holiday
and
management,
Event
yeah.
management.
Oh, wait, there's only one day we deal with holidays and management. That's Halloween.
Christmas. That's not-
No,
It's okay for like,
no, Don't do that at all.
And do we want to bring up a full-time deputy? I think that
I
absolutely.
wouldn't naming specific deputies.
you send me that one? And I'll just build the agenda with those items listed on it.
Before we do on that, which one does the board think are like the top two that we really want to talk about?
The full-time deputy.
Okay,
Details.
in details. So let's put
those flowers.
yeah.
The full-time detail, I thought it was established that they came in way too high.
Yeah.
Is that not
Well,
anymore?
it's hard to figure out because they gave that one $200,000 quote for
There's a $200,000 number, but
Deputy.
there
Yeah.
are costs in there I would like to discuss that are
Yeah.
clearly not recurring cost. There's a car in there. We're not buying a $55,000 car every year.
They had itemized 70 gross that
Yeah.
Okay.
way past what it should be.
And there is, I think I know where you're going with this. There is discussion that are we getting for coverage right now? Do we need to consider that? And maybe he can expand on the coverage we're having. That would be part of the discussion.
With his comments 3 months ago that he didn't think we needed a detail that he was gonna reallocate on the taxpayer dollars to be able to do it. Hey, if he can articulate that here,
Well, that's.
awesome.
There's been a noticeable difference.
Yes.
There is that bit of this.
Well, I'd also like to come to an agreement on what we're gonna do with Halloween. I wanna totally not do it. They need to be aware of this is their function.
That's not ours.
It's not an event. It's not an event. It's not a special event.
No good deed went unpunished on that.
No, because whoever was, you always get, and I had a lot of residents that really appreciated the deputies, doing what they were doing. A lot of people. I think it was like 30 some emails I got, and so a few phone calls. I'm like, oh,
How much do we end up spending
About 12 grand.
For what?
for the Halloween?
Additional detail?
Oh,
12 grand?
why did we do additional?
We took details,
Redeployed.
yeah, in this month and.
yeah, we're not doing this budget.
Yeah, you don't go over budget.
Oh, that's what I.
That's the key.
that's why I was-
Stealing from.
Okay, that was why I was nervous. I'm like.
I just wanted to know what Halloween
Yes.
costed, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Well, it costs us money that we could be using for other things.
Yes.
Well, you could always, yeah, that's.
Well, you modify the goals for the next 2 months to
Right.
cover that cost.
Okay, got it. I do remember that conversation.
So are we good with that agenda?
Do you want to read back the items? Just make sure you got it.
When Dave sends them to me, I'll put the agenda together and then I'll send it out to everybody for review and make sure that this is what we want.
It's in shorthand, so.
How short?
Do you have doctor's handwriting or
Is it discoverable? Is it gonna wind up in a congressional record somewhere?
it could?
It's a public record, that's right.
That's right.
Just became, oh, shoot, now.
It's already gone.
All right, so, yes, I have it. Ability to direct details, full-time deputy negotiation, operational control. Focus on e-bikes and trespassing enforcement. Look at 313 building annex, need regular blotter reports, and then Halloween. And I'll change that to holiday.
It really is.
Holiday.
It really is just.
Okay. And then looking at 313 building annex, like expand on that.
Upstairs.
Oh, so we're doing that again?
Yeah, I thought we talked about it.
Well, we're not sure we have the need.
They're the ones that said no, right?
They are the ones, as well, the last sheriff said.
Yeah.
He said he was very interested.
They said it was discussion though.
And I think we're interested, that meant that there was like more presence here.
It's a benefit to both parties.
Right.
I would like that on the agenda just as a sign of an overarching discussion about reciprocity and partnership. As opposed to them nickel and diming us every time we want a deputy in here.
All right, I will put that together. Next is discussion of pond bank restoration. What you have in front of you is, out of the last meeting, Mark sent out some stuff. I sent that over. They're actually online, Ryan Graham and Tony Boston.
And you sent that in an email too, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I sent
So
you an
we made it
email.
Excel and.
Yeah, so you can expand it
Yeah.
instead of trying to hurt your eyes. So what they did, and I'll let them explain, they also sent some material that you have in front of you to kind of look at and feel. So what they did was take what you all asked, which were a couple of things. Number one is if you wanted the higher quality material, like if it was going to last longer or something like that, to provide a cost for that. Also, that if instead of just doing it like the red section, if there was a pond that was red but had orange or yellow or green around it, what would the cost be to complete that entire pond as opposed to kind of going back? So they're on the Zoom. If you guys want to ask questions, and they can explain that a little bit better, if you'd like.
Yeah, I think that's pretty. What's the P300 LW and what's the PPS?
It's right here. The LW, this is fifty.
Where'd you get that from?
Right here, it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
They sent a box of them.
Didn't feel it, touch it.
Greg, you had a question?
I was asking Mark, I can't remember if yellow was in or out of compliance. From his original report.
Yes, but, and that's a good question. And I think the answer is yes, but on the one you're looking at now, they reconfigured the red and the different things to incorporate those ponds around, like if it was red mixed in with yellow and green, to do that entire pond on what you're looking at now.
So the P300 LW and the PPS, what do we get out of it as far as lifetime usage?
Yeah, Tony or Ryan?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, I don't know if you heard that question. I think the question was with the material that you provided cost on and the ones that I have in front of them looking at the PW and the other one, what's the difference and what do we get out of it versus not?
It's the longevity.
The longevity. Hello? I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
So the P300 and the other product, the PP5 are both considered permanent solutions, right? But the 300, as you can see when you hold both materials in your hand, there's quite a bit of difference. The 300 is more of a light duty product. I put both of these in over the last 10, 15 years, and the PP5, the thicker material, holds up so much better long term. It has a better UV resistance because the sun will degrade. Any kind of PVC or any kind of plastic will break down in sunlight, where the PP5 has a better longevity in the sunlight. There also is the thickness of it. As you can see when you hold it in your hand. For the cost increase, my recommendation would be the PP5. That's something you're going to put on and put down, and you're never going to have to mess with that again.
And I'm taking the P300 right now, pulled it out of the package and start flying.
Well, okay, so just so you know, the real binding is the black. That green is the visual. If you put it down, it just stays green until stuff grows.
Yeah, so that's
that's not a binding.
No, that actually just kind of holds your seed in place. Both products will hold the seed in place, but the 300 is, you can see it's a lot flimsier. If you ever get mowers on it, stuff like that, it'll break apart a lot easier than the other product.
So you got a 6% cost differential between the two for a longevity of what?
Well, there's no actual, I can't give you a time frame on how long the difference between the two products, but I could just tell you that the PP5 is a much more durable product. It's used in a lot more aggressive environments than what you guys are going to use it for. So that's why I recommended it. So it's going to be a lifetime product for you. Normally we put that in a high volume swale area where we have a lot of water rushing. And I know you don't have that there, but for the 6% cost increase, to me, it's peace of mind for you. You know, it doesn't cost any different for us to lay it down or to install it, or just the cost increase is to the actual product.
When you lay it down, how wide do you lay it down?
These come in 8-foot wide rolls, and they come anywhere from 100-foot to 300-foot rolls.
What anchors them down?
There is a metal clip that'll go in place that will push those in place, and that'll hold it in place until the seed actually takes a grab and the roots and everything and the grass grows through it. And then once that's in place, the sod actually holds it in place eventually for the long term. The stakes are only there till the seed takes root.
How long is that process?
For the seed to grow?
Oh, just to take root and just curious.
To take root, it's just once you start seeing the green grass coming through it, once it's at full growth, it's took root. It's done.
If it's Bahia, you're 21 to 28 days to germination after seeding.
Yeah.
What would we seed it with? Oh, it is Bahia, so it would be plant based.
I would do a mix this time of year. Like if we start in January, it'd be a mix of winter rye and the Bahia. But the winter rye will take off right away. You'll start seeing growth fairly quick on that. That'll hold everything in place. And then once the Bahia starts to germinate, that'll come through. And that'll be a long-term fix.
You, the man up front. No, not you. All right, go ahead.
I went to my trusty AI agent and pulled the specs from both of these. The PP5 is rated from the manufacturer's webpage at 50 years, 50. The P300 LW is rated at greater than 36 months.
So there's your answer.
6% cost difference.
Why you Google, Jimmy?
I would recommend a 6% increase just for peace of mind.
Smart kid left test.
From putting down the two, Tony, what has your experience been? The one holds up better than the other, or?
Yeah, I put both down. I've done a lot of FDOT projects over the last 39 years, and the PP5 holds up extremely well. I've never had to go back and replace it.
Is there and I'm not saying I'm looking for a third option, is there a third option? I'd seen with some of the initial estatements that Mark had put together, there was three. I mean,
More of a
There is
non-woven.
one more. It's a grab it right here. It's just kind of an in between. It's going to be a C350. Same company. Rollmax is the company. It's a C350. It's the next level above the 300. That has a little bit thicker on the plastic meshing is a little thicker, and they use a coconut straw in between to hold the seed in place.
Thoughts do have St. Augustine, so you might be able to just sod on top of this. Whether maybe a Bahia sod on top of it, not wait for the seed.
If that's something you guys want to look at, we can look at that.
What
The
would be
issue,
benefit?
the problem is accessibility around it with
Yeah.
if you get the sod all the way around a lot of those spots in the pond, it's very labor intensive. We'll basically be pushing it with wheelbarrows all the way around. We wouldn't be able to get machinery around there. So a lot of this work's going to be done from in the water to the bank.
Chemical buggers.
These estimates, they include seeding and stuff.
These estimates include the seeding,
Yes,
correct?
it includes the seeding,
Yeah,
correct.
It should be
Yes.
all inclusive.
Yes.
Is there a non-woven option that maybe doesn't have as much void space that board might want to consider? Because I think you do have some fluctuating water levels on the ponds where whether it's seed or sod, it could die off in the wet season, then in the dry season, you've got exposed geofabric
Mm-hmm.
would wave action eat through the
Well, if the
openings.
sod dies off, the geofabric's not going to move. It's going to stay in place. But
Some wave action still could potentially go through the 600 and pull material out possibly.
so you said some wave action. Is that what you said? I apologize.
Yes, wave action, it's wind, during, especially when the water level goes down and it exposes the dead sod, you with wave action potentially go through this and pull material out from behind it, where maybe
I would, that's why I would, with the, I apologize, with the PP5, do you see how thick that material is? That's going to be loss of your substrate material, your sands are going to be very minimal through that. Whereas you went with the 300 or the 350, that you can see that grid is a lot bigger.
I was just thinking if there's like a non-woven, like almost like a geofabric that's doesn't let light through or very little air, because this is.
Well, if you use a geofabric, the issue with that is it's more of a design for erosion, but not for stabilization where the sod can go through it, right? The grass has to be able to grow through this. So if you put the geofabric down, which we use geofabric on a lot of products, but we don't use it very often on slopes.
To include grading and bringing the slope back to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a complete,
This is all
That's
included,
complete,
and then there's the two prices depending on what you pick.
right?
And then these are the sections.
yeah. Probably the red stuff first though, right?
So if I'm not mistaken, let's say we do the first one, the PH1.
Mhm.
That includes ponds with all these different colors in that area. If we were gonna do it.
Yeah, if you went out to this far side here, but then you still have all these other ponds that.
No, but I guess that the point is if you were like red, yellow, orange.
All
red,
on one
all
pond.
in one, it wouldn't make sense to come
That's what
back
they
later
do.
and do it.
Yeah,
Recommended the phasing based on how much red and.
Correct.
orange.
so what you're looking at is if that first pond had not only red on it, but it also had some orange and some green and some yellow. Their pricing on there is to do that entire pond as opposed to having to come back and finish a section later because it's in a different color scheme or different priority list.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
I think you kind of do at least a side of a pond and stop at an end or a corner, kind of makes sense, kind of graphically here, you've got a big stretch of orange and red. That's orange, yellow, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, you probably just go ahead and.
And that's based on what y'all asked.
So if we were going to go ahead and mobilize and just do the red, it'd be kind of, we'd have to adjust our pricing because it'd be costly, right? We use what we call an amphibious excavator. So it's an excavator that's designed to actually be in the pond and work from the pond to the bank. And that, ideally, we want to move that into one pond, do the pond completely, and then move to another pond. It's quite costly to move this piece of equipment. For you, budget-wise, ideally, we can go from pond to pond.
So that's why he reorganized the spreadsheet. The one you saw prior was based off of priority level, right? These were just red and it's just the red areas, which left some of those others, like Mark was saying, undone, right? So what they did is reconfigured it to go, okay, this pond, like Mark just showed you on the map, it may have some red, yellow, green, orange, and they went it to do that whole thing.
But let me ask, make sure I understand. Sorry, I'm gonna phrase it in my words. Take phase one. You've got $346,400 of ponds that are in the blue, so they're well in the compliance. That's assuming we did the 300, it'd be 361,988 if we do the PP5.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the red and orange sections to the left would not hold their unit prices if we removed the blue? Would it change the red and orange unit prices?
There's nothing in the orange and yellow prices for that pond.
Oh, phase one, you've got 139,678. I'm talking the first two lines, phase one.
Okay.
There's orange.
There's orange in there as well.
Red on the LV7.
Right.
but not for.
What I'm getting at is I would see no need for us to do anything in the, Mark said that everything yellow and higher, so yellow, green and blue is in compliance.
Yellow wasn't.
Yellow was less than 18 inches, and that was equivalent to the step heights that they just built in Island Village. They're basically a vertical. So that was kind of where I set the limit as far as what, initial recommendations
We
be.
wanted to focus on that.
But there was a lot of orange mixed with yellow. It doesn't make sense to grade a slope out, put a 4-to-1, and then you're gonna have.
And we can,
back to 4-to-1.
we can have conversation in my mind on the yellow, go back and forth, because it's about to become non-compliant. So
That's really your green and blue. Is what
the
you're-
green and the
Right.
blue, especially in the first one, makes a perfect example. I mean, on phase one, half of it was in each section.
Well, let me ask Reggie, because I can't read the title on the green and the blue areas. What are they? What's the title?
Heavy wood and light green.
So Brian, are you on, or Tony, either one can explain? If we were to take out with the ones that you put, if we take out the blue
And the greens.
and the green and just do the orange, red and yellow,
Does that
Yes, ma'am.
change the prices for?
does that change the prices?
Well, if we're
Yeah. Go ahead, Brian, let you go.
yeah. So hey everyone, sorry, I don't know if you asked me a question earlier. I got kicked off right as soon as we started talking about the pond, so I apologize about that. As far as that goes, if that was going to be the complete scope of work wanted to be done in those ponds, right? So address the red, the orange, and the yellow, let's say for the time being, and then the blue and the green, because they're in compliance, are not going to be done, then we should be okay, because we're going to finish that pond, the parts that are going to be completed. And like we said, if there's some spots interspersed in between, then we can discuss that as we're there or as we're planning to be there. But if it's going to be all the work that's done in that pond, it should be fine to hold unit pricing, and we should be fine there. It's the coming back and forth and going back and forth to the ponds multiple times that causes the biggest issue.
Eliminate green and blue, we would hold our unit pricing, and we could do the calculations based upon the linear feet.
Correct.
Linear.
Lineal.
feet, sorry.
So just point of clarification, the blue is heavily wooded areas. I'm not sure how they
It said heavy woods.
included that in there, but initially, there was areas around those ponds that were heavy wooded that I couldn't really get into. We subsequently surveyed them, signed a color to them, but still indicated that it was heavily wooded, because not only do you might have red, and this is a good example of the high school pond,
So it
the whole
could
thing
change.
was wooded.
So you're saying the blue may actually be a red since they surveyed it. We need
We
to color change it.
and we have got the colors, we have surveyed it and we have colors, but we left the blue line to indicate, hey, it's a red area, so the slope is steep, but it's also wooded.
So I would certainly know, because in the blues, you've got 1.3, almost $1.4 million of stuff in the blue. We need to know what category the blue fits in.
And we do have that. So this blue area, so what I did in the updated spreadsheet that I had sent recently was, okay, we assign a dollar amount to the red, consistent with the original estimates, but I did an add factor on top because it's wooded. And I think I did $50 to $100 a foot extra, because you got to deal with the wooded condition of that slope.
Yeah.
So whether you work around those woods,
If it's
tear down the woods.
Amphibious and you're going from the pond to the shore, is it that big of a deal that it's wooded?
Well, the slope is wooded.
Maintain the
It's
slope.
slower.
Wooded down to the water. But this is a good example, this high school pond, the borrow pit pond, and the pond behind Future Way there. They contribute to like 86% of the wooded area, and those are probably 3 ponds you're probably not interested in doing right away.
Right.
To do those at the very end.
If you look at some other ponds, it might be a 50-foot strip.
Exactly. So one's gated actually, or fenced. One behind the high school. You can't get to that anyway. Okay.
Well, then we're breaking up his phasing based on.
Well,
If we rejig your phasing, that's not changing the unit prices for each one of these, correct? Those were just recommendations of how you would group them. Or is the phasing based on your mobilization costs that, hey, you found ponds that were close to each other and that's a big difference?
And Tony, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. As far as that goes, again, the big key there is the fact that we're getting in a pond and then finishing whatever is done there, regardless of the sequence we do them in. As long as the pond is whatever work is going to be done is being completed at once. There are some considerations to be made, from going from one pond on the far south end to one pond on the far north end, but for the most part, that should not be that big of a deal. So rephasing them, I think we would like the opportunity to kind of look at it and just make sure it makes complete, sense to us. Not saying that we would override anything, just like a chance to look at it. But the biggest piece is getting in the pond once, finishing, and then mobilizing out of that pond.
Because I think what we'd want to do is prioritize the ones where there's most human beings standing around.
Yeah,
And
risk
least behind the high school, for example, where nobody's gonna be. So we'd like to try to see what that page will look like by priority of people concentration.
Can we ask staff to do that? That way we're not sitting here as a board trying to guess that, just if you guys want to.
Yeah, we talked about that at our last agenda call, and I started doing that, and looking at the most visible,
High traffic.
Obviously the East Lawn ponds, the one on East Lawn, possibly the one across from the condos, the ones along Waterside, the ones along West Park.
Yeah.
Those would probably be the first group of ponds that we'd want to do. Is there a certain number of ponds that you'd want to include in phase one to keep the current pricing where it is? Is it 5 ponds, 10 ponds, or, because we're talking 70 ponds here.
I mean, I would think whatever, if you just give us, why don't you just give us the list of sequence that you want, and then we can group it into groups for you, and then you can tell us that works for you.
Well, and we need to give you.
I think that's the easiest way, based on your list that you're gonna give of high visible, and then let them group them together.
The ultimate way to determine is we need to give you what's our pain threshold for what we're willing to spend this year. Once you rank them, you're just gonna keep going down.
Well, and that's kind of what I was saying we did in Harbor Isles too, right? Where they said, this is what we're allocating every single year to pond, because they have millions, right? And it's going on. They get a lot of wave action as well, that what you were talking about. They do the rock riprap because of the wave action, which is not going to be aesthetically pleasing here, which is probably not what you want. So yes, first of all, you need to decide out of that 700 that we budgeted, do you want to spend, that's what you're allocating, or do you want to allocate 500, 400, 600? And then they can work with that priority list of marks and go, okay, for what you want to spend, here's what can be done for this based on the unit cost. You already have that in front of you. So it's not like they're gonna, you already have the unit cost. So just to stay within that budget. And then next year, okay, we can tackle this. If you're wanting to spend the same amount or more, we can tackle this section and kind of keep going like that.
Yeah, we will be happy to work closely with you once you make that list to try to maximize your spend. We're going to do whatever it is that seems to be the best for everyone involved. And we're going to try to make sure that we maximize what you're spending up front and getting the most out of it for the long term. So we want every phase to make sense to us, but we want it to make sense to you as well.
Well, just to be clear from the conversation we had over the past meeting or two, the intent for here was mostly to get us and staff educated on what this looks like. And I saw they had terms and conditions in there. So I got a question because I think if I read right there, we're assuming we were doing permitting. I want to make sure
what the scope is.
Right, that all that's jiving, because the discussion, the intent for me was always that we were gonna go competitive on this, that we were gonna get more quotes on this.
Oh, yeah, Mark, I
Okay.
think, got an additional quote as well.
Haven't got it yet, but they're working on it.
Yeah, so no.
For this thing, I think we have.
Yeah, this was something that we reached out, not just to a singular company.
The challenge from last meeting was staff didn't have enough information to do a consistent and detailed RFP package to put out to everybody to say, here's exactly what we want. So that's my number one question out of this. Did you guys have enough what you need in order to put out a competitive RFP? What's
I
missing?
think if you went back and reprioritize this based on traffic, listed this out again, we know the linear square foot cost, you know what the RFP is, include the permit cost and make sure it's like for like, and be able to have our answer.
I'm just, what got us on the fence was the terms and conditions, right?
Right.
So I want to make sure we're.
So you guys wouldn't pull the permits, Ryan? Is that what I'm understanding?
Sorry, I was on mute.
Are we go ahead, Ryan, you got it?
No, you can answer it, Tony. Feel free.
Yeah. No, right now we've excluded it, but if need be, we can go through the permitting process for you and for whatever the fees are.
Permitting that I see would be potentially required would just be dewatering permits.
That's it. I don't know of another one.
Depending on how low you need water to do it, and that would be probably something we have to talk to Reedy Creek and where that limit is.
There's the exclusion, so if there's anything that jumps out at you.
I don't think there's an actual permit to do the work. I've never had to.
It's a maintenance item, yeah, and I think.
Yeah, it should be no permit to actually do it. If there's a need to lower a pond, yeah, that would be a dewatering permit, which we're very familiar with getting. But as of right now, I think we're good with just going in and doing the work.
And sometimes on those dewatering permits, if you're less than 90 days, you're kind of exempt, but it might depend on how close you are to a wetland area and how far you're going.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, we will have to put up some floating turbidity on the outfall structures. And that should be all we need to do.
Providing water to the job site is an exclusion. How much water do you need? You got a whole pond full.
Actually, with that exclusion, I'm pretty sure that was just by the person who put the proposal together on there.
You're in the pond.
I think we'll have plenty of water.
Traffic control. When you guys are moving your equipment, you have, at least I guess flashing signs and.
Yeah, we'll have an escort truck and we'll have if we need to make any wide turns or anything like that, we'll have flaggers out there to maintain traffic.
Just for dewatering. Just dewatering. That's a new conversation with Reedy Creek this morning. We're gonna pump water into their wetlands.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be the only kind of permitting thing is to make sure we're on board with Reedy Creek for any dewatering. Other than that, I don't think there's any permits that have to be pulled.
No, it's maintaining your system and
Yeah.
as it was designed. It's basically the 4-to-1 slope.
Right.
So I'm not changing anything there.
So when is the board looking to, he's gonna prioritize, then we can give it to them. They can come back with what it looks like, their plan with cost, and then when would the board want to start this work?
Well,
Because that's gonna be one of the things that companies,
For
no, that's not what I'm talking about. They're still gonna wanna know a schedule.
Oh.
When we give this to people, they're gonna wanna know how soon the board wants to get this done. They're gonna ask all these
I would
questions.
assume there's some kind of optimal time frame in the season to do this.
It said in the dry season, I thought I saw in there.
Right, so
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want it in the dry season.
January through May.
right.
Yeah.
So
Well, so
some point in the
We have to be next
Well,
week.
Angel, how much money do we have set aside for the project?
700.
also let me back up the schedule. If the rainy season starts in May,
You want to get it done between the first quarter of the year, January through May.
my question is now if staff has everything you need, can you put together an RFP package, solicit it, get it back in front of us, get
by next May.
the contract award and get them mobilized? Can all that happen by May?
We need to have them before May.
You have to get it way before May, because how long is it gonna take?
No, he's saying to
No,
get it all done.
I'm saying with the
done.
time that we have until the rainy season starts, is it
Yeah.
realistic that we can
As
get
soon
this
as
done?
Mark gets that list, we can put it together and then you can see the revised whatever proposals in December. And then you can award the contract and then you start in January. And then,
We've allocated it in our budget. I would like to get it done this fiscal year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as long as it can happen.
Number up to our budget.
okay,
It doesn't have to be done in May, it just makes it a little easier.
it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just want to make it as.
Now, and we would ask this question too, everybody's schedule, right? So Ryan or Tony, if they were to award a contract in January, an optimal time would be during the dry season, would it be accomplished, or would you be able to accomplish it,
Yes.
ending
Yeah.
and wrapped up by May?
Yeah,
we,
we could.
we fully intend to, if it is to be awarded to us and say in that time frame, we would get in as soon as we can, and the full intention would be done by May.
Okay,
And we have, and to be more pointed, we will have the resources available to do it by May.
Okay.
Great.
All right, perfect. Then once I get the revised list from Mark and all of that, we'll send it out, the full details, and then you can kind of revamp your thing and then
Okay.
send that in.
Yeah, that will not be a problem.
Do you want them at the December meeting to answer any additional questions, or any vendor? Do you want them at the December meeting to answer any questions?
Dollars I would like to do.
I think, yeah, I think having them here,
Okay,
and it'll be a long meeting, but this, like you said, it's a huge project.
And it's also,
And also we're looking at, it's not just this project, it's the
it's
rest of it.
future, yeah, it's the
Right,
future
so, yeah,
project too.
I think we good idea.
Okay, so we'll have them in December to be able to answer any questions, concerns that you may have. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, just real
You
quick
guys-
so I can make sure I plan. Do you already have a date for that meeting?
Yes, it's gonna be December. It's a week up, right? I think it's
16th.
16th.
At 5.
Is it realistic? We're gonna get that package put together, solicited responses back, clarifications back to us in time for the meeting? That seems awfully aggressive. Especially
It's 3 weeks and it's Thanksgiving next week.
and Thanksgiving in the middle. That just seems awfully aggressive to me.
I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't. It's not. Are you talking about it's gonna take you a week to put that together, or?
As far as the list, I can probably get it together by next week sometime.
Yeah, and I think you have ample time. If we run into issues where people are just like, no, it's the holidays, we can't respond or something, then I'll let the board know, but.
you've already got everything mapped out by scope, you know, this isn't rocket science.
No, that's what I'm saying, it's
You can
not.
put together, I had to get a problem.
I didn't think the fence was either, but
Well, that's another
I
conversation.
hate to be that guy, but.
Yeah.
Well, now you.
Yeah, there should be. December 16th?
Yeah.
Yes, December 16th.
Okay, well, if it does work out, we will plan to be there. And if not, just let us know and we'll be at the next one.
Hold on 1 second. You got a question?
Oh,
I did have one other one.
There you did.
Just because we have a draft of their terms and conditions, Jan, some of these I might question, like number 12. I'm not saying we need to adjudicate them right now, but just things you might want to look at and say whether or not. Number 12,
I'll send it, and yeah, it's gonna be on Jan's contract. With theirs is just the scope, so she'll. be
Just
able to
knowing that the
print
terms
mine.
are gonna have to conform to what we normally do, that may change their price, so I wanna make sure they're aware of. In the RFP package, we talked about this before, can we send out our draft terms and conditions so they know what they're gonna need to price to,
yes.
as opposed to
They're
their finding
consistent.
afterwards? Yeah,
We can send a draft contract.
Yeah, if you could send me there, I
Yeah.
think.
I sent you a couple examples of what it should look like or could look like.
Yeah, I'll send that over as well to everyone, that this is just a draft contract, and then their scope would be an exhibit to the district's contract. Okay,
I just don't want them surprised when we come back and say, no, that's not really how we're gonna do it.
no, agreed, for sure.
All right.
Okay,
Are we done with the phone?
Okay.
Here we go.
thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Have a good night.
You too.
Take care.
All right, discussion of Greenbrier fence proposal.
Yeah, just a quick discussion because we had approval to go 5% above the fabricated on celebration. We're good there. The Greenbrier went up 25%. It's $1,600.
Make a motion.
Oh.
Is it changing?
Well, because it was that,
Make a motion.
Second.
I would.
$1,600. Yeah, about this whole.
You know, do it.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody. All right, discussion of repainting of curbs on Rook Road.
Repeat that one up already.
Yeah.
Make it pink. Favor.
Nothing to discuss, right?
Just nothing to sell, no. All right, D, consideration of resolution.
Okay, hopefully mine will be as quick. There's 2 resolutions, 2026-03 and 04. It's for the remainder of phase 1A and phase 1B. Mark has spent many, many months going through, signed off on it.
Years.
The agreements are negotiated. We do have one little thing that's not ready yet. We had said, I know, I promised no post-closing agreement, but we had agreed and had an agreement for one street sign they ordered that's not in yet and should be in the next 2 weeks. So that seemed meaningless. So we drafted a post-closing agreement for that. But we also do not include the alley light issues. And Carrie's been working on that for quite some time. The alley lights are working. And so we proposed to Mattamy what you all have been talking about with Mattamy, of a period of time where they would guarantee the lights will keep working or they'll hardwire them. So probably there was,
Starting when?
the agreement was signed.
When it's signed. Oh, I want to make sure it wasn't when it was.
Yeah. So we don't have that agreed to. When I first brought it up, the Mattamy Council was not aware of that and objected. Now they've asked for the language. We sent Carrie some today, so I think we have something to send to them. So I recommend approval subject to getting that worked out. And if they don't agree to it, I already told them we, pull it.
So where's working mean? It's so many lumens, I mean, is it
We
so
don't
much
have
degradation?
We don't have the measuring thing either.
I mean, it just.
Right now, all the lights are working, we're able to program them. There is a 10-year warranty on the lightning bulb. So if one went out, we'd get a replacement. They probably removed us 4, 5 maybe, 3 or 4. Yeah. It's pretty easy to move them to try and get more sunlight.
And those are only phase one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about, we have a map to include on an
Yes.
agreement of these are the ones that didn't work. So this is the area we're concerned about.
So you're recommending approval with the
Recommending is-
condition on there?
Approval subject to them agreeing to the post-closing agreement, and Carrie's agreed to the language, and if you want to delegate to one of the board members, final approval of that. If they don't agree to it, then it's not approved till December, and we'll talk about it again. We recommend approval with the condition that they agree to the 1 year of wiring any of the lights or light areas that don't work in that designated area.
We agreed to it at the field level. And then once it got to the, and I wanted it documented because.
Once it got to the lawyers.
Part of my concern is that agreement is with Tanner, done a great job. What if Tanner goes away?
Right.
But we don't understand it anymore, so we need some type of document.
We need it, yeah, we.
Need a motion for what Jan said.
Do we have a second? Second. Any discussion? Favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Great, thank you.
That was approved, both of them.
Yeah. Agreed.
Who made the motion?
Greg made.
So we did 2603 and 2604 then?
Yes.
Who was the second?
I did.
Yeah, that was for both of them.
All right, consent agenda.
They'll fix the lights to get the bridge back.
Yeah, when I told them I was pulling it, when they said they wouldn't do it, they changed their mind over the weekend.
I'm sorry, did y'all do the repainting of the curbs? Did I miss that?
You missed it.
That's part of our
It was
street
all-
signage.
Right. Yeah, we
We're
missed
not
it.
talking about that.
So that's the street signage
Yes.
Yes.
workshop?
Yes,
Okay,
Was there a specific request from somebody on Runner Oak? Is that, okay.
Yes.
yeah.
they should be directed to Colvin County.
Well, technically,
Count,
yes. What?
county's not gonna paint the curves.
I understand that. That's not the point. The point is, they are responsible for paying the curb. We didn't approve an agreement. So the homeowner has to call the county. If the county doesn't show up, there's nothing we can do right now until we clear this up.
Correct.
Correct. So,
Show county meeting, they can show up in this meeting.
all right, consent agenda. Move to approve.
Like,
All in favor? Supervisor requests.
question I have, enterprise and
Yeah, so that is with we just got another board member, council, their council has the interlocal that Jan drafted up. They're reviewing it, and as soon as she's done, will be presented to the board.
that be presented next month.
We're hoping.
Yeah, haven't they
That's up-
told
that's-
us, yeah, they told us with the new board bill
That's-
that would take some time and not to button.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
They said it in a nicer way than that.
Yeah, very.
No, but I agree. We're gonna,
Yeah.
we're just gonna have to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we all need to know what waiting means.
It's, you know, we did define what waiting means.
This one.
No, Angel let the board know she knew something. But we always ask every month.
Yep.
But Angel didn't let us know, so we still have to wait. So that's the unfortunate waiting process.
Yes.
Supervisor requests, anybody else?
Yes, I got one. I'd like to rename a lake. Pat Wasson.
Oh, you did bring that up.
Did bring that up.
Did bring it up before.
Pat Wasson was our first, or actually our second town manager. Did a lot for this community. And over for the Toho, is that was her what was her street?
She lived on, she lived on Toby Court, and then she also lived in the terraces.
No, then that lake there on Long East Lawn, I guess would be where I'd like.
That's right next to the church.
What was the request? What's the ask?
To have rename the lake to have Wasson Lake.
Oh, why wouldn't you do that? That's awesome.
You wanna put- I would suggest putting on an agenda so people can see that you're doing
Okay.
And I'll tag on to that one. I'd like to do a Gary Moore Lake as well, considering you just,
it. CDD
you're at the district for
20.
almost.
Yeah.
30 years.
Well, you can have that lake, so choose a lake.
What's that?
You can't have my lake, so choose a lake.
I'll do this room. How about that? The Gary Moore Conference Room.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That's nice.
Yeah, let's get on the agenda so the public has.
So next agenda would be a discussion of naming
Yeah.
lake, what it would, discussion of naming something after Pat Watson, is it Watson?
WASSON.
And Gary Moyer. Is that good?
I do have a request for Gary Moore.
Somebody should contact his wife.
I would contact his wife to see if she's okay with that.
Tori.
I'm happy to do that with Tori.
You wanna do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. We'll let Greg do that. Cause I just out of respect, and she said, no, I really don't want.
Gary was a very private guy and I
Correct.
understand where she would come back and say,
And if that's the case,
Okay.
we're good with whatever she says, so.
my other
So
request.
that will be on the next agenda and you'll reach out to Dory.
Okay.
Okay.
My other request would be, since we're doing Pat Wasson, we should talk to Croa about that since it was the Croa manager. I think it's a great idea, but I would like to bring that up to Croa and let them. Okay?
No,
You.
no.
Okay.
No,
I just said break bro.
No, because like.
I'm not suggesting asking permission, it's just since she was a. She
can come in-
she was the Croa.
So it was proposed for Croa too. They were talking about naming the building, naming the rooms, something like that, right? And now they're selling the rooms. They're selling names of the rooms. I think that was my understanding. Which I find is a bad idea. That's in my opinion, but there's a reason why I think when somebody passes, that's when you go ahead and name certain things.
1000%.
There was a suggestion thrown out that they name the 851 building after Pat Wasson.
And that's why
But that's up to them.
I got it. It just. I think it would just be in good form if we just, even if we're not asking permission.
They can come to our meeting when we discuss it.
Well, I can go to their meeting as well and just say, hey, we brought this up and we're
I don't have a
gonna.
problem saying that. I'm
Okay,
just
that's fine.
not asking permission.
100%.
That's
fine.
that sort of
Are
thing.
you asking for forgiveness?
No. Just FYI.
Only money.
Just money.
Tough crowd.
Very well.
Okay. Anything else?
All right, 6 things we haven't covered yet. So that brings me to my first point.
You said six. Number one, it's not your fault, Dave. Angel said 6:30.
I said what?
You said 6:30.
I did say 6:30 and y'all blew it.
Put it out in the universe.
Again, I've been quiet for 30 minutes, by the way. And I wouldn't have to say this if he's on the task list.
That's right.
So for over a year, I believe we've been operating this task list. So it keeps getting smaller, but my list that I'm tracking gets getting bigger. So why is there a disconnect? Why can't we get when we
I have-
talk to something?
I have waiting on a task list for months.
Bless me.
Let's see.
I think, don't you go over everything in your Friday
I
report?
cover almost everything there. Do we need to maintain the task list? I guess would be the,
The question,
What?
yeah, if it's going out in the Friday report, does it need to be on the task list as well? I guess that's the
I've got
question.
6 items here that are neither on the task list or on the agenda.
All right, so what do you got?
Well, let's hear it.
All right, so, the map of PROA areas of responsibility that went out, I found errors. So is that done? Is it at CROA now? Do we have an MOU? Where are we standing with all that?
Was there any reaction from Crowa to it?
no, just received. Okay, I got an email that we received it.
So we can resend it with a revised, hey, oops, we did something wrong. There was not gonna be any MOU. We were simply putting
Yes.
them on notice.
That's what I thought. Agreed.
Yeah,
The areas are wrong?
there's some that are withheld.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that needs to get sent in.
All right, and
Two?
so it's gonna go on the task list, or this is not gonna go on the task list, so I can check up on it.
The task list is gonna be item number 7.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Go to number 2.
All right, how about the annual report that's required to be posted by December 1st?
What about it?
Was it on the agenda? We have not approved it yet for the year.
Yeah, it'll be approved in December and it gets posted on the website. It's
Yep.
just your goals and objectives, which is a checklist of, do we hold our annual meetings? Do we do
Advertise.
agendas? Do we advertise? Yes, we do all of those things. And then it gets posted on the website
Okay.
every December.
Right, I have a legislative due date of December 1st, which is why I'm worried.
Mhm.
So we're not approving it until.
No,
December.
it'll be posted on there, but it's what I'm saying. We approved it last year.
Yeah, but you're supposed to do an annual
Yeah.
update, so you're saying you want to
Yeah.
approve the update before it's posted.
Right, so,
Okay, it will be on the agenda to be ratified.
Yep.
I have a note that we were gonna get vendor evaluations emailed out. We can do
Oh,
that?
that's totally on me. Yes, you're correct. I'll send them out now and they'll be on the December agenda.
That includes InfoMark.
I'm sorry?
Includes InfoMark, right? We'll do that at the
All
same time.
vendors.
Right,
All
Okay,
vendors.
just a clarification.
Well, I think at the last meeting, we were to do the vendor evaluations, you were to do Infomark's evaluation, and then they're all going on the agenda.
We'll
Is that,
provide inputs on the vendor ones if we feel like we want to. We'll write up our own stuff on it.
okay, got it.
We spoke about the agenda was gonna have tabs so that we could follow along.
Yes, because we, at the last agenda, there was no sections. Page
Right,
section.
section, out tab, whatever.
Right.
So,
Tabs or page numbers?
No, there were sections.
Page dividers.
In PDF, you can do section it out.
That's what we had before, and then the last one.
Oh, you just had blank pages that said tab 5.
It said section 2, section
Yeah,
3.
Okay, so you want those dividers back in.
Yes,
Okay.
I guess the expectation was.
Got it.
this one.
Okay,
So,
next.
FDOT was interested in 2 to 4 parcels.
Yes, they have not gotten to celebration. They just went to court on reunion today. They're heading this direction.
so they're
we
getting
hopefully
closer.
will- Yeah, they're taking emergency parcels that they need for bridges and certain things right away. But we have heard nothing on celebration yet, but they are active because we just had a court hearing, I think it was today. 2 parcels, 4 parcels for reunion east and west.
They're getting
So
closer.
I will keep you up to date as soon as we get any kind of proposal we're taking.
And the other one was something Greg brought up. I don't know if you care about it anymore or not. That's the reporting on underwriting and funding.
Oh, I had one thing on my list, but go ahead.
Oh, was that it?
That was it.
No, I thought we were gonna buy you.
No, we're going this way instead of this way.
No, it was, I never said anything. I said anybody and about me, if I have something. That we're a friendly bunch, you know?
Okay,
What did you just say?
I'll let him. It's fair.
So your last thing was FDOT?
Yes.
And she answered
We have
that?
an in domain, yeah.
Right.
that we have nothing to report on that. I have a question for David.
That was impressive.
What's
So,
World Drive situation? What's going on with that? Have we heard anything from the county? Any response?
No,
to
they had a
the-
question, we answered their question.
What does that mean? Because we had all kinds of conditions.
They needed to provide a lot of
Information.
legalese too.
Yeah, he had a question on that. He just hasn't responded yet.
Okay, thank you.
We'll figure out the plating there in front of.
Yeah, I'm saying we had a lot of conditions.
That's it,
that
it's
wasn't-
anything but.
Tell us, oh, we need the land now, and suddenly we lost all our
As
conditions.
best we know their process for their budgeting cycle, are we on track to get in on their next year budgeting cycle, so this can actually get done in FY 27?
No idea.
I don't know when they start the process, and I don't know how much further we need to go before they.
They always say they have, that it was approved in the budget and then the year goes by and they don't do it and they gotta.
Well, I don't think this was ever approved in the budget. I don't think it ever got that far.
It was listed on the budget, but I don't know if it was a, 2025 allocation or future year allocation.
They actually did have a line item. in there with
It's a
money.
line item in the budget,
I totally missed that. Very well. Karen.
but I don't know where it's gonna, what year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Greg, we're all curious.
Well, are we doing your task list? Or you?
That was it.
So
I went through all the items that were.
No, are you talking about whether or not we're doing a task list or not? That was.
Yeah, that's the last piece. So like Jan stuff, that's not a test, that's a info thing.
Carrie brought up the question whether or not we want to do a task. I think we should. We talked about this quite a bit.
If
There's a reason we've got a task list.
If all of those items were the test
What's
list,
the task list?
Hmm?
Besides Dave? Nobody else?
Dave's on the task list.
Well, no, but I'm asking, like, does anyone else look at it? Because if Carrie incorporates it, it just seems a bit redundant. If you want a task list, that's great. We'll do a task list. And then he can keep this stuff out of his Friday report. But if
So-
he's doing both,
No, and I understand that. And I
Okay.
think, I don't think the issue is the test list.
what's the issue?
The issue was, let's talk about like the sections, the vendor stuff. It's when we forget things.
It's the follow.
It's not the task list.
If
you
it
know?
can be incorporated in the front.
If it was,
I agree.
yeah, that's why we don't want to forget.
Got it.
If they ask for a previous meeting, then we forget it, then we're gonna wait another meeting. So that's the mission of any list. That's what we don't want to forget.
I mean, I take no joy in going through 7 items at the end of every meeting.
No, I know that
I'm a little smart. I mean, come on.
Was it an evil smart? It was close. It's judgely smart. It's the holiday season. Say no. All right, Greg. Oh, Shell.
No,
You got a jacket.
I really don't.
I already said my thing.
Yeah, I don't have anything. So
I don't want to yield my time to him, but I'm gonna.
Then move to adjourn.
Yes, I would. The B word's gonna come out.
I will use the word bagel.
Great.
if it does, I'll, because this was brought up when I wasn't here. So I would have killed it then, but go ahead. Anything?
No, because
Okay.
the conversation that we did in the budgeting was that there were alternative means that didn't involve a bagel that we could do in order to look at how we can finance some of these larger term projects. That was when we approved the budget, when I was not the happy guy in the room back in August. Now 4 months later, we're gonna start budget season soon. I don't want to be the guy voting no on a budget because we haven't looked at alternative means to finance things.
But I thought that, correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I was at the meeting when it was brought up to look for stuff. But my understanding is in order for us to look into other things, we would have to spend 6 figures to do engineering for it.
If we did a bagel.
If we did a bond, I'll go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were
But I
alternative means
thought-
to finance things.
Well, there are always alternative means to
So-
finance, loans and stuff.
There are.
Yeah, the alternative means most of the time, like 99% require assessments to be able to pay back and secure.
The line of
those
credits.
Line of credits and to have assessments, you have to go through all the bond issues because generally you can't put assessments on top of assessments that are out there without getting bondholder
You
approval.
need to do a separate assessment on a loan. I'm sorry, I'm not following it.
Generally, they're not just gonna give a loan and say, we like you, Celebration, here's $2 million. They're going to
Right.
want something to secure that loan.
I
And
think
the
the
only
only
thing
thing
they-
typically is assessments.
Yeah.
It is that an assessment that we as a board then commit to a multi, if I'll make up, totally making up a number here, guys. I'm gonna make up $10 because we say million, somebody's gonna flip out. If we go for $10 financing, we need to be able to show that even if it's over multi-year, we are able as a board to legally commit $2 a year for 5 years. Because I've always understood in our assessments, we were not able to do anything. We could only do year over year. We could not commit future boards to particular assessment increases or decreases, but you're saying
We
that
would go through an assessment process, we
Yeah.
levy assessments just like we do for bonds.
because we're
So
financing
like
it.
A 10-year
Okay.
assessment on
Yes.
everybody for $3.
It's a coverage.
I'm trying to understand what the benefit is to have a bond paying off your budget. Your annual budget. I don't understand.
The same thing I said when we did our
No,
last
because
budget meeting and the one before. It's
maybe you
because we-
establish the fact that you can't use it for maintenance item or repair.
Well, no, I'm not talking about bond, I'm talking about financing.
But they generally are going to want to have a similar report or something showing what you're using the money.
Right.
Sure.
So you're going to expend the funds. I mean, bottom line is you want a bond, the board needs to commit to getting, to expending the funds to get an engineering report to be able to provide to bond council to go, can we get a bond based on this report? If you go line of credit issue, just like what Jan was saying, now too, with the line of credit, I mean, most of them, there's a cap to that. They're not gonna give you a line of credit for millions and millions. Usually it's small lines of credit, 200 grand, 150,000, but not say there's not any out there that won't loan you millions of dollars, but they also want a repayment, which is your assessments. That's the only way this board has a way to repay something, which is through assessments.
So I have a question. So I'm gonna take a straw poll. How many people on this board want to do a loan?
Well, hold on, versus something else or?
I'm gonna go through each category. So I'm gonna go alone. If you're looking to finance to fix things.
Okay, if we are looking to finance fix things and option A is a low, okay.
Right? So how many are interested? What, we're gonna do budget season and we're actually gonna go ahead and do a loan.
Depending on the outcome of what happens at enterprise, there may need to be.
I understand that,
There
but
may need to be a fund mechanism
I-
that funds a gap. That's a possibility.
That's a
If
possibility.
that doesn't come through.
if that, okay, so I'm gonna say, so if that doesn't come through, that's an option.
Correct.
I'll say it this way, over a certain threshold of dollar amount, I would be doing a bond. Below that, if we had to do something, it would be some alternative. And maybe that's alternative financing, maybe it's a loan, maybe whatever.
Okay.
I would agree with that logic.
Okay.
I don't know what the number is in my head, but it also really contingent upon.
Okay.
And I don't know what, to your question of a bagel versus a loan, I don't know what the interest rate differences are, I don't know what the terms and conditions, you know what I mean? It's a numbers game that I don't know until we see the numbers in front of us.
So for me, if all this works, and I believe it will with enterprise and everything else, and we're gonna go ahead and focus on maintenance only, I don't see any for either one. If something doesn't work out, which is always a possibility in life, right?
Conversation.
Then we'd have to look at something else.
Agreed.
Okay.
That's why I keep asking.
But I guess but I know we keep asking, but it's like we don't know anything yet to keep
Keep
asking.
asking every month, so we know.
No, but
Because to Greg's point, and I don't disagree with him, we're underfunded and we all know that. So without that gap, we better think of some alternative. And again, whether that's a line or whether that's a bond, depends on the gap that we have. To your point.
I'm putting a marker on the table that as we get into budget season, which is gonna be starting in the next 60 days, right after the first of the year. I will again say, I do not like the idea that we've already put the past 29 years of mistakes on the backs of the current residents. We're not gonna put the next 20 years.
But you actually are gonna put it on.
That has to get repaid.
It's not
That's going to be amortized out over time as opposed to what was.
Yeah, you can go up to 30 years on, I just did a bond in another community.
On a bond, a loan, yeah.
Yeah, loan wouldn't be as long.
Let's look at what you're committing to. You're gonna repair something for a short-term period. And you're gonna put people subject to a 30-year payment.
Depends on.
Exactly, and it depends on what, and that's sort of the purpose of the engineer's report. We have the CDD today that, has $1.5 million, I think, worth of pond repairs. So they are investigating whether it makes sense to do a bond because they can get a 30-year life out of those ponds.
And I'm not trying to delineate which one we need, because I don't have nearly enough information to do that. But I know we sat here in budget season last time and we all pulled our hair out over the fact that, and Jack, you ran the numbers. I mean, it was gonna take until 2035, assuming, I think, a 15% year-over-year increase in our budget just to catch up to
No,
the.
it wasn't even that much.
No, it's lower
It was
than
not that long.
It wasn't-
So I will tell you, when you're coming into budget season, if that's the route you want to take, you all have to have a discussion of what are you putting into this loan? Is it light poles? Is it roads? Is it this or that? You can't go into it blind and go, we just want a loan or a bond. You have to lay out exactly what you want
And that's
for
why-
us to be able to.
That's why I've been
approve
asking for 4 months as to
which route
what are the
we go.
constraints as to what I'm even allowed to do so that I can figure out what I want to do.
Well, we have to know what it is you
You
want
have
to do so we
yeah.
can determine if the life is.
What the best course of action is.
One, one guy's comment is the entire list of stuff we talked about from between the pond repairs that we initially estimated at, I think $9 million was our first number, and that may come in different depending on how these.
It's right there.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We're gonna start ironing out those numbers. There were alleyway conversations. There were whether or not sidewalks we couldn't do with a bond, but can we do that with a loan?
Yeah.
Because that sidewalks, we still got, if I remember right, it's still a $3 to $5 million delta to get just to where the gap is today, if not another panel breaks.
So that concerns me because now you're talking about a bond and a loan.
I'm talking about, I'm talking about one of the, I don't.
No, but I'm saying, but the items we're talking about are falling into different buckets.
I understand.
Right.
Most of what you're
So-
talking about are maintenance items, which are more than likely not gonna be included on a bond.
Yeah.
That's just
About a loan.
the reality.
Can we agree that we wait to the end of the year to get the final distinction from enterprise, which we probably should have?
Yeah,
then
and you can go
evaluate
into the
gap
first of
that
the
we
year.
have, and then with that
Yeah.
gap, determine what that potential.
Well, I think that's fine. I think it's fine. It's just,
I just don't want anybody going into budget season surprised when all of a sudden I use.
I guarantee you, we're not gonna be surprised because I've been mentioning every month. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm sick of it. I got it already. You know, if it gets mentioned again, you know, I mean, no, but I get it. You always, no matter what you do, you have to look at everything anyways, every single time. I get that.
And all I'm saying, Tom, is when we did the budget,
Mm-hmm.
the express commentary from staff was we can get something in front of you to explain what the conditions are of a loan or even other alternative means. And that hasn't happened in 4 months. We're now having a discussion about.
Okay, so what can,
The bond underwriter will also look to banks to get a tax exempt note, which is generally from a bond, from a bank, which gives you the tax exempt rates. But that's the same process as a bond, basically.
so my understanding was in order to get all that criteria,
You still need a project.
you need a project. And
With-
in order to get that project, we have to spend 6 figures in order to do it.
Most
No one's-
likely.
Most
Yeah, I
likely.
mean, you need.
So until we get that, Greg's not gonna get,
We need a list of what it is so we can get bond counsel to say, yeah, I'm comfortable, this is a tax exempt project and I can do that.
Well, our biggest thing coming up is pond repair. Is that something that qualifies for a bond?
Yes.
No.
It depends on the life,
yeah.
yeah, it depends on the life of what we're doing.
So what we can do
Yes,
is
of
put
course.
together a spreadsheet by the end of the year that tells you, here's the bond. If you want a bond, here's the process, what you have to get in engineering. I can get some general cost around that. It's not gonna be exact, but we can do a general cost. Here's your loan options. It only goes up to X amount. You still need a capital project plan. And then kind of what that looks like.
And we
I
also
can give you that, but it's not gonna be concrete
We also need to go through all the current bonds that are out there because you can't assess on top of.
on top of
without
it.
Getting bondholder approval to get a feel for, is that possible to obtain?
Right.
Tom, your comment, I don't know, I don't have an agenda for a specific prescription of this goes to a bond, this goes to here, this, I'm counting on staff to be able to give us options to say, hey, there are alternatives and there's gonna be pluses and minuses to both of those.
Yeah.
I just really don't like the path that we've been on for the past 2 years. We're gonna go to a third year. We're not looking at options.
I think it's gonna be clear at the end of the year.
yes,
So
all right.
Anchor.
alternative financing vehicles, but should be cleared up to be seen.
Okay.
So.
Anything else?
No.
Yeah.
Do you have your notaries?
Motion to adjourn?
Did you have a notary suit?
Sorry.
I'm out of committee more.
What?
Second.
Yeah. I think-
All right, we move to adjourn. Thank you.
Here, he's a notary.
I have a ton of it.
You don't understand?
Date night. Tonight, it's made it, I got.
It's